You got it.
It's live now.
Hello, audience.
Yeah, we're here to a discussion between Big Bad Mama and the Dustin. Who wants to go first?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dustin.
Are you there, Dustin?
I think you're muted.
I guess I'll go
Yeah,
first.
how's it going? Yeah,
No,
I don't.
just
Well,
kidding.
you're the expert. Like, in all honesty, I mean, all I have is research. So,
Do you want me to?
yeah.
Do you want me to go first? Because I have some figures to show, and so I'll just kind of do a quick rundown, if you don't mind.
Well, if you have a presentation, go ahead. All I have is research.
Okay. So hold on. I have to go to the share screen, which I have to find. Here it is. Okay. Now, please let me know if you can hear this or see this, I mean.
Yeah, there.
Visual is coming through.
Can everybody see that?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
I see it on the stream too.
Okay, and it's legible.
Yeah.
Yes, it's clear. I
Okay,
can see
somebody.
Africa, South America plate.
Okay, so this is a map of the Earth showing the tectonic plates. We have 7 major and 8 minor plates. What we're going to be talking about is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge here, if you can see that. Now let me go to the next figure here. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can
Coming
see this
through
figure?
loud and clear, and I can see your presentation.
Good, thank you. So this is the structure of the Earth showing the core. You know, you have the Earth, and then on the inside you have the solid core, iron core. Then you have a liquid core, and made of mainly iron and nickel. And then you get to a mantle, and the very top of the mantle and the crust are called the lithosphere. And that's what composes the tectonic plates on the planet that we just looked at in the previous map. So there's a difference. There's a thicker, 100-mile maybe continental lithosphere. And then the oceanic lithosphere is denser, mostly made of a lot of iron, and it's thinner as well. Quite a bit thinner than the continental crust. So if we go to the next figure, please let me know if you can see this when it comes up.
I can see
Can you
it.
guys see that?
I see the abduction and the subduction.
Thank you. Okay. So here we see the different plate boundaries of plate tectonics and the different plate margins. So what we're talking about is going to be this ridge. Say this is the mid-Atlantic ridge. It's a spreading center. So the tectonic plates are spreading apart, and volcanism and magma are coming up to fill the crack, solidifying, and then the plates continue to move off. A new layer of magma comes in and solidifies, and that goes on and on and on. You also have what are called subduction zones, where the denser oceanic crust dives down beneath the continental crust. And when it melts at depth, can you see my cursor at all?
Yes, I'm looking at your cursor.
Okay. So you get melting down at this depth, and it becomes what are called diapirs, and you get magma chambers form, and then you get your island arcs, such as Japan. Um, Also, there's a subduction zone off of South America that creates the Andes. There's one off of the Northwest United States that forms the Cascade Mountains, Mount Shasta, etc. You also have plates that will, so that's when plates are coming together. Whenever continental crust, like is over here, subducts over into another continental mass, you have a mountain, you have crumpling and compression of both continental crusts, and you get a mountain range form, like say the India crashing into Asia, you get the Himalayas that form that way because it's both buoyant crust crashing into one another. You don't have the oceanic crust involved anymore. So there's nowhere for the continental crust to go. It crashes into each other. You have other features like these hotspot volcanic seamounts like Hawaii, but we're not going to talk about those tonight. We can maybe talk about those some other time. Let me go to the next figure. Okay. Can you see this, please? Anybody?
I can see it.
I was having a hard time with
Okay.
my mute button. It's not responding.
Missy Mod, you can be the moderator. Tell me if you see these things.
Okay. Yeah, I see. You're showing South America, Africa, North America, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So we're going to be talking about the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. And you can see by the shape of the ridge that it conforms very closely to the shapes of the continents. You can see Africa would fit right in there. Africa would fit down here. South America and North America would fit right in here. And that's what's happened. There was a supercontinent, and it pulled apart at this ridge, the two plates.
What is this? What is this slide? What is it named? The name of this slide specifically? I'm gonna have to have you pull this up later.
Oh, okay. You could just say map of Mid-Atlantic Ridge. I can find any slide you need for me to find. Mid-Atlantic Ridge.
Okay.
So let me give a couple details of the ridge. Let's see here. So it's the longest mountain range in the world, basically. It's about 2 to 3 kilometers above the ocean floor, and it has a rift valley at its crest, marking location at which the two plates are moving apart. It's part of a 25,000 mile long continuous system of ridges on the floors of the oceans. The movement of the tectonic plates is about 2.5 centimeters per year, which I think is about an inch a year. And the measurement of the tectonic plates is measured using a global positioning system. Okay. Are there any questions so far?
I don't have any.
Do you have measurements on current depths of like certain features right next? Like, what's the depth to the highest peak of the ridge?
Well, you can see in the upper right corner, you can see that diagram showing the depths. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see, but it's too small. I was wondering if you could tell me what.
You know, I don't know. It looks like it's about 600 feet maybe to the top of the ridge. Of course, it varies. Iceland is a part of the ridge that's so volcanic that it actually created an island. And, Iceland rises thousands of feet out of the ocean. But I've stood along the ridge line in Iceland, and really interesting place to visit. But there are several other islands as you move on down um, toward, off the African coast there. Let's see here. So basically, at the Mid Atlantic Ridge, the North American and Eurasian plates are moving away from each other along the line of the Mid Atlantic Ridge. And the ridge extends into the South Atlantic between the South American and African plates. So that's what that shows. And if there's, I can call this up again. So if we take a timeline of history, and all this is supported by radiometric dating, we used to have a precursor of the Atlantic Ocean called Iapetus Ocean. And this would have been around 500 million years ago. And it was positioned between two continental masses. And it basically began to grow narrower and close due to subduction, which we've saw before what a subduction zone is. And then once it closed, it created, are you seeing this figure showing these different mountain ranges?
Yes.
So we have the Appalachian Mountains here in North America, and it goes down into the Ouachita Mountains of Arkansas. We have the Little Atlas Mountains in Africa. We have let me do my cursor here. We have Newfoundland here. We have part of the British Isles. We have the Caledonian Mountains in Norway, and we have the east coast of Greenland. And all these formed one mountain range at one time when those two continental masses crashed together. And at its peak, it was considered to be probably as high as the current Himalayas, which are another continental mass crashing into another, what we discussed before, India crashing into Eurasia. So this mountain range, the Central Pangean Mountains, it's called, formed as a result of a collision between minor supercontinents, Laurentia and Gondwana. And as I said, it was comparable to the present Himalayas, but a very long mountain range. And so these mountains basically just started to erode at that point because they were no longer growing. Plate motion had stopped, and they were basically just in a phase of erosion. And so they're very old mountains, and you can tell if you're ever in the Appalachians compared with the Rocky Mountains or the Himalayas or the Alps. The Appalachian Mountains are very rounded and very old, but they can match up the rock units from all these different ranges. So they knew they were one mountain range at one point because the rock units, the ages of all these ranges, the fossils that are found, they all match up. And basically, it opened up again. And when it opened up again, that's when the Mid-Atlantic Ridge formed. The plate motion started to diverge. And so you could see it split this mountain range apart. And now you have the Atlantic Ocean starting to form. And it, of course, went all the way to its where we are now, because it's still spreading out at 2.5 kilometers per year. Let's see here. Okay, any questions so far about any of that? And all these have been all these mountain ranges have been dated by the volcanic rocks using methods such as
Barium,
potassium argon
strontium.
dating. Yeah, multiple techniques. So I guess before I talk about anything else, we'll leave it at that for now. I just have two figures for later. Well, let me show you. We'll leave those, Dustin, and I'll let you talk. Thank you.
No problem.
Did that all come through okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
I heard everything, and I'm right on the same page. Okay, so
Cool.
you used to see the equilibrium that exists between parts of the Earth's crust, which behaves as if it consists of blocks floating on the underlying mantle, raising if material such as ice caps is removed, and sinking if material is deposited. And the material in this question would be water. You used to see a change of sea levels throughout the world caused typically by movements of parts of the Earth's crust, or melting of glaciers. So, what we're trying to establish here with these words is a form of glacioeustatics. The theory that because of the mantle, there's more of a play between the level of the crust. Is somebody? I'm getting echo. The level of the crust, right, in relation to the water level, based on the weight of the water and fluctuations due to the ice caps melting. So, I mean, we all can agree that going back in time recently, we were in an ice age where the caps were of greater abundance on the land.
Right. We aged that at about 10,000 years ago, the last ice age. And of course, yeah, so the glaciers and ice caps will suppress the land, and then it'll rebound once the ice is melted.
Obviously.
So, offset zooming, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, Earth's planetary science letters. So I have some documents here on dredgings of limestone, and they had contaminations in them. I'm trying to find it. Consists of Mesozoic from the Vienna offset zone, and the conclusions were derived from this study appears to confirm that and extend the results obtained previously by. Okay, do you know who Bonetti is?
No. What's his first name?
I'm trying to find it.
Or
This
the
guy
title?
Bonetti.
Is he's about, and he's talking about limestones, or?
Well, he was dredging up limestones, and they found in the composition that there was oolitic. Okay, limestone. There was presence of well-developed oolitic fascists indicated faces. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Facies. Thank you. I didn't want to say feces. I wanted to say facies. Indicate that the limestone formed in very shallow water close to the sea level. So when they dredged up this limestone, they found that there was fossilized parts of the land crust. I'm sorry, man. Like
Okay.
I really tried to get this all down. Like I have pages of notes here,
That's
but
okay.
I was busy
That's
working,
okay.
and like the
That's
theory
okay.
is, I can summarize what I'm saying. Essentially, my theory is that the separation, so the abduction and the subduction zones are caused by compression of the water as it pushes
That's
down
true.
on the land, right? But
Well,
if you're saying that the land crust was separated, then there shouldn't be these oolitic feces or facies indicating that the limestone formed near shallow water. So that if they're separating, why is there these fossils that they keep finding along the ridge? He hasn't come up with an explanation to this point.
okay. Well, I've never heard this argument, so I'll probably have to kind of look into it. But can I ask you a couple of questions?
Absolutely, it would
So,
probably be easier. I
so
could answer them because I have my notes here.
well, I just want to get your model. I've kind of given you my model, which is
Right.
basically the scientific consensus model. But what would your model? Do you know who Walt Brown is?
That name
So,
sounds familiar.
so this was really what I thought your argument was going to be. Is Walt Brown came up with the hydroplate theory, and he has I've got a couple notes on it, but um, his theory, which is something that Kent Hovind agrees with, is let's see here. Basically, that the Earth's crust once floated upon a thin layer of water, which was under great pressure. The crust began to crack, allowing water to come to the surface. It shot out of the crust like fountains, possibly as high as 20 miles in the air, and rained down for 40 days and 40 nights. That crack now forms the entire mid-Atlantic ridge. The shape of the ridge bears the specific outlines of the continent's edges, which after the flood moved over the layer of water to their current geographical location. So that's called the hydroplate theory, which is used by creationists. Does that ring a bell, or have you not heard that
No,
before?
that was not my argument. My argument was more like a seesaw, teeter totter. Right. The more water you have in these areas, the higher you're going to push up the land crust. Right, and that's where you end up with like scarring along the lines, where you can see granite areas from the subduction zones. Right, but then you also have to account for whenever you get to the mid-Atlantic ridge, when they're dredging up that limestone, because it's encapsulated. The coastal crust is encapsulated. There's granite in there that they can't explain why it's there if the crusts are supposedly separating. If there
So
was
you're saying
if crustal spread took place in this area at the rate of, what was it, 1.2 centimeters a year, the block cap by the limestone apparently did not move with the spreading floor. Bonetti, his papers in 1977. Yeah,
okay.
if you have crustal spreading, then they shouldn't be finding these limestone that have this oolitic facies.
Okay. Well, I'll have to look that up, but let me move to the next part of my presentation because I think it segues nicely here, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So we have the, let me get this figure up here. Can you see this?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I can.
oh, you can. Okay. So when we talk about the Earth's magnetic field, it seems that every 300,000 years ago, we have a reversal in the field. And it's discovering this reversal that revealed that seafloor spreading is happening. And it's through magnetic polarity reversals. So basically, the lava pours out at the mid-ocean ridges, and there are tiny magnetic minerals in that melted magma that align themselves with the magnetic field at that time. And it preserves the magnetic field like a tape recorder when that lava solidifies and moves away from the ridge. And of course, it's moving away from the ridge on both sides, both the axis of the ridge is in the middle, and then the new lava comes in, solidifies, and moves away from the ridge. The plate moves, and then as the plate moves, more magma comes in. And as it does that, it basically it preserves like a tape recorder the direction of the Earth's magnetic field, whichever way it was pointing, normal or reversed. And these, I believe it was in the 50s or 60s, they took an airplane and later boats, they used a magnetometer to test those, test the seafloor in terms of magnetics. And what they found was what we're looking at in the diagram. You have the new magma coming in the red, and then older magma coming in is the yellow. The older magma still is the green. And then you get the blue, and the oldest magma in this photo is in the gray there at the edge. But these stripes go all the way across both axes, all the way to the coasts. And basically, it's given us a way not only to know what was going on with the magnetic field, but we were able to date these layers with radiometric dating, and the dates match perfectly. So if you were to take the dates on the yellow layer on both sides, they match perfectly. And if you do the green layers on either side, they match perfectly, and they get older as there's no, there's not anomalous dates you get. The dates get older as you get further away from the axis of the ridge, because that used to be new magma that's now moved apart from the axis, if that makes sense. Let's see here.
You won't like my rebuttal for that one.
Okay. Here, hold on 1 second, and then I'll give you that rebuttal. So here's what we've come up with in terms of the dates. And we can see, of course, right along the ridge there, which matches, you have to explain how not only the continents match shape, but also the ridge matches the shape of the continents as well. And that's something that your model should be able to explain, as well as, you might believe radiometric dating is flawed, but you'd have to really show that in all cases. But because we have pretty good dating, that here we have in the red, here in the orange, we have the lava that's just being created. And then we have dates going, as you can see, these are in millions of years, the scale on the right here, until you get to 180 million years on the very edge, when that ocean first started to open up, or yes, open up, and the Atlantic started to open up. And so this, of course, would be your oldest rocks would be here. And even the sediment layers, you would get very little sediment that's accumulated here on these new additions to the seafloor, but you would get pretty heavy sedimentation that's found on these areas here. So Dustin, go ahead, please.
Okay, so as far as your barium, strontium, or your potassium dating, we've done recent dating on rock that came out of Mount St. Helens. That didn't turn out too well for that experiment. So, you know, if you can manipulate numbers based on the rock and the area that it's taken from, then the dating has to be put into question at the very least, or in my mind is in challenge. On the other end of the equation, if you're going to say that there's millions of years of erosion here that in the separation of the plates, what we don't see is runoff from the coastal continents that would justify that. All those thousands of years and millions of years of rain fall off, you would see a lot more erosion. And as far
You
as
want me to
for
address
like,
those?
yes, go ahead.
So the Mount St. Helens rocks, basically they use the conventional potassium argon dating method, and they applied it to a 1986 dacite, which is a type of rock from the lava dome at Mount St. Helens. Ages varied from about what I have 0.34 million years to 2.8 million years. And so creationists then use that to say that potassium argon method is invalid. The trouble with this is Stephen Austin, who did this work, he sent his samples to a lab that clearly stated that their equipment cannot accurately measure rocks less than 2 million years. So Austin misused the measurement technique, and he should expect inaccurate results as a result of that. Also,
Well,
his sample, just let me one more thing, Dustin, and then I'll let you. Just let me finish this real quick, please. Austin's samples were not homogeneous, as he himself admitted. So if you have any rock, when volcanic rock, there's an eruption, oftentimes there's older pieces of rock that get mixed in with the new magma that's being formed, and it'll be carried out of the either as an eruption, an explosion, or as in a lava flow. They're called xenocrysts, and they're whatever rock was there before a volcanic eruption, and the volcanic eruption took that rock out of the rock wall and made it part of the lava flow or the ash layer or what have you. But so Austin admitted that his samples were not homogeneous, which means that they weren't just of the original flow or what have you, the original material. Any xenocrysts in the sample would have made samples appear older because the xenocrysts themselves would be older, if that makes sense. So that's a distinct possibility why he was getting those dates in the millions of years. And I think
do you see
oh, yes, go ahead.
do you see the hot zone? Okay, if you go back, or well, we don't have to, but if you see the hot zone, okay, and the idea that these layers are lined up with the magnetic polarity, all right, if you're telling me that older rock from below can contaminate the newer rock that's up here, then the whole dating method alone is in question. because you're dating a magnetic pole that was exposed to older rock and then subsequently cooled as it supposedly spread. You don't see the stretching. You don't see any of those issues. And then again, like I said, every time you have an eruption and you're taking those samples from deep under the ocean, you have the potential of cross contamination. The whole idea of dating these rocks should be put into question. Even if the individual was playing games, the idea that the facilities did not catch this is an issue in my mind.
Well, I'm not clear why you would have contamination when you're just sampling volcanic rock. And it's shown on rocks on land too that they also get those magnetic anomalies. In fact, you can even match if you have a magnetic signature from a magnetometer, you have a measurement of a rock on the Atlantic seafloor. You can find that same measurement on a rock on land that was a volcanic rock on land because the magnetic reading is the same. And that was another way
Is
that
that
they were able to
because
that was another way they
is
were
that
able to
is that
correlate the
because
dates.
the rock is that because the rock is magnetized, or because the magnetic pole has remained that way for so long?
Well, it's, it would be comparing rocks using that method, since it would be more inaccurate because you have these magnetic reversals about once every 300,000 years. So you might have a 60 million year old lava flow, and it corresponds to a 60 million year old lava flow on the Atlantic floor. But you would have to put error bars like you do on any dating method to account for those things. But it's just another way that we have kind of, not only do we have direct dating of the layers, and it shows uh, a remarkable pattern here. That's, it would be a real coincidence if contamination played a part in every sample that they collected, yet it gave this uniform dating map here. And
Well,
let me
but
point
if
out,
I was to let's say that I was to send in samples, okay, and we were to get a funny number back, would I be considered like dishonest because I didn't understand every concept there is to know about barium, strontium, or potassium argon dating? I mean, you ascribe these things, and it. I mean, if you're gonna say that there is no conspiracy behind the idea that atheism is not a religion, then you can't turn around and simultaneously point your finger at a freaking at a creationist and say that your God is a made up thing, and accuse us of a conspiracy. It doesn't make sense.
well, I'm not really accusing you of a conspiracy, and I don't think I ever brought up God.
Well, you did say
Um,
creationist. You said creationists use that as
I
a way to disprove or
well,
discord
I
argon dating. You did say that.
I probably did say that. Yeah, and I also said that the hydroplate theory was the predominant creationist theory. But let
You
me
did say
ask
that as
you
well.
let me ask you a question, Dustin. What do you think created the Mid-Atlantic Ridge? I mean, do you believe in plate tectonics at all?
I believe that there is some separation in the plates when you have compression due to the isostatic or glaciostatics. I mean, I don't I've seen more reason to believe that than I have to think that these plates are separating. I mean, there would be a lot more issues. I would see a lot more, like there'd be a lot more earthquakes. We'd see a lot more splitting across these continents because of the different Yeah, I mean, we take a look at those lines and the way they're laid arbitrary, but they don't actually mean anything. If you're telling me that these two plates are pushing against each other and there's a ball
No,
that
no,
there's
they're pulling apart from one another, is what I'm saying.
well, that means
It's
that that implies that
they
there's a
used to be
push,
attached. They used to be attached.
right?
And
But
so the push
right,
the push is going the other direction. So the
but
push
then
is going
but it's a ball. It's self-contained, right? How
right.
long do you expect that shape to maintain over billions of freaking years? No.
Well,
No, these continents should be split apart. You should have all kinds of chaos running everywhere. This looks like
no, well,
abduction and subduction due to glaciostatics.
number one, it's only 2.5 centimeters a year on this plate. And the way the crust is, or the lithosphere is recycling, is it's going down in subduction zones. So you're not just getting a Earth that's rifting apart. In fact, this is just at the very
Okay, I have a
surface.
question.
This
I
okay,
have a
hold on.
question. Hold on.
One
All
No,
right.
no, hold on 1 second. This isn't going deep into the mantle like it's going to crack the Earth apart. It's Let me bring this diagram up again. So it maintains, the Earth maintains. Here you have the spreading center here, and then here you have the subduction zones. And the proof of the subduction zones are the island arc, or the volcanic arc, like the Andes, if it's subducting under continental crust here. So you have this line of volcanoes that follows the orientation of the trench. And so you have crust being created at the ridge and going back down into the mantle and melting um, at the subduction zone. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
Over billions of years, this subduction zone to the right, would you not expect the mantle to be cooling over a certain amount of time? Considering that the mantle is exposed to ice cold ice water and being permanently subducted over billions of years?
Well, there is a temperature, for a while before the subduction zone gets down to the depth where it can melt. It is cooler in the center of the subduction zone than the rest of the air. Then the surface is getting heated up because of friction, both surfaces. But in the middle of that plate going down, the temperatures are colder, but it pushes down to such a depth where that doesn't matter anymore, and you're getting melting that's occurring. You're also getting sediments that are going down there, and as you said, ocean water, which acts to cool the plate somewhat.
It shouldn't just
But
act to cool the plate. I mean, you're talking about a constant feed of cold material being subducted into a hot mantle, and it stays hot for
yeah.
billions of years. That doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. It
Well,
doesn't make sense.
I think you're saying that it stays cold for a long time, not
No,
hot.
no. What I'm telling you is it doesn't matter how cold it stays for how long. What I'm telling you is eventually thermo uh, thermodynamics are going to take over, and you're going to start to lose heat in the mantle, right? All this heat has got to go somewhere, and it's being migrated into this new. Why aren't we, over
It
billions of
melts. It
years? We should
melts.
see.
We see it right now. It's melting and it's forming. You see that line of volcanoes? It's called the volcanic arc. That's forming
Right.
all along the trench, and that's where the heat is going. So it's diving down and it's melting. It doesn't just keep going down into the mantle forever. In fact, given the Earth's size, it doesn't go down, that far at all. But it gets down to a depth because it's hot down there where it melts. I mean, how would you know, I never really heard your model for why the ridge is there. But can you tell me why the Andes volcanic arc is where it's at, down the entire length
So
of South America?
the Andes volcanic salt. What was it? The volcanics
Andes
of
Mountains.
any volcanics along this ridge, all right, is due to severe piling of material due to the glaciostatics of the point. So as the water pushes down, right, you have a compression zone where material fills in, and as it's filling in, it's building heat, like you said over here in this volcanic region, okay, and it will erupt over time. But that's because of the compression of the material and the back and forth motion of the mantle as it's adjusting over time because of the different positions it's got to be pushed through.
And it just happens to be in a line that parallels the subduction zone, which is
Well, it happens to
where you
follow
see
the
where the word
weight happens to follow the path of least resistance. Yeah, I'd say that it, and it's not in a perfect line. It follows the contours of the mantle below.
Okay, well, I don't agree with that model, and I would like to see some citations specific to the Andes Mountains
Well, I wouldn't have
of your
citations.
of
Well,
your model.
maybe I actually do have citations to the
Well,
Andes Mountains.
you don't have to look them up now, but maybe afterwards we
But
can post some stuff
I
in
did
the
I spent some time researching this, man. I got notes.
yeah.
Yeah. So no, I
I'm
see your
enjoying our
model.
discussion.
I just have an issue. Like, how are you going to continually subduct for millions upon millions of years and not expect the heat to like dissipate? Right? Like, we should be seeing a
The heat
severe
the heat
cooling
dis
of.
the heat dissipates into the lithosphere and erupts as volcanoes, which releases the heat. And not only do you
Which should
see that in
eventually
the
run out. You only have so much heat, man. It's not like
well,
there's a continuous, endless well of heat in the center of the earth.
it's
Eventually, that should
at
run
some
out.
at some point the plate boundary will change, or the plate motion will change. It's very dynamic. The entire plate structure is dynamic, and plate directions change. So if the plate direction changed and it started to move away from each other, you wouldn't have those volcanic arcs anymore. They would erode away because there's no active subduction zone going on, and you would have the granite that's forming underneath here would be exposed. And it's like what you
Right.
see in the Sierra Nevada mountains, which is granite is intrusive igneous rock. It's not erupted onto the surface, it crystallizes underground. And it's composed of quartz and feldspars and some different minerals
How
like
did I
that, but
know you
mostly
were going to get
quartz.
into crystallization? I knew you were going to get into crystallization. Can you tell me if it's
I'm not.
immersed or immersed? I
What's the
knew you were going
term?
to do that. I knew you were going there.
What's the term that you mentioned?
Immersed or immersed. It was either in the water or under the water or above the water.
Oh, well, I've always heard above the water is aeolian. But
Right.
I'd have
Right.
to look up that term. But my point is that it's a real, let me show you one other thing on this map, if you don't mind. Do you see this feature called Hotspot Volcano Seamount? It's on the left there, left center.
Yeah, hotspot volcano. I see volcano island arc. I don't see seamount.
To the right, out in the middle of the ocean. Does anybody see that?
Wait, am I blind?
Missy Mod, are you
I
with
see-
us?
Yeah, I see it. Sorry. Had to
Are you
switch to my-
conscious?
Yeah, I'm in the chat laughing at Claude and Logo.
Okay. So that hotspot volcano seamount, that is what Hawaii is. And it's a hotspot feature that's not at a plate boundary. It's not either at a ridge or a subduction zone. It's just a weakness in the lithosphere in which there's a hotspot coming up from the mantle and creating volcanism. And so the whole line of the Hawaiian mountains, the only island that's active now is the island of Hawaii with the Kilauea volcano and Mauna Loa. If you take the islands that stretch off to the west and northwest, because then they go underneath, they keep going all the way over toward Asia underwater. But you'll see that each of those islands is dated progressively older, millions of years older, because the plate is moving, and that island marks where that volcano, that landmass would have been over that hotspot. And then the plate moves it away, and you get a new island form. It moves away, you get a new island form. Does that make sense? And then you can see with the line of the volcano or of the islands of Hawaii and the seamounts, you can date those and date how fast that plate is moving as well. It's interesting.
I mean, within our measurements, within our lifetime, I would agree with you, right? But I mean, there's no guarantee that that's a fixed rate.
It's probably not a fixed rate. I mean, the plate movements, they change. They change from year to year. But the magnetic stripes, the magnetic stripes and the age dates that you have, the actual radiometric dating, tells you the absolute date of whatever you're dating. And each of those Hawaiian islands dates progressively older as you get west and northwest of the main island, which is...
Where's the magnetic map of this area? Do you have it?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know that. I'm not sure
I would challenge that premise, because if you're telling me that the plates are inconsistent but the magnetism is, then we have an issue with our measurements. There's something not adding up here, bud. I'm sorry. The way you're explaining it, it doesn't, because you're telling me that this is inconsistent, but we have this consistent measurement to go by, right? Well, but then you have no way of cross-checking, because the one measurement is always going to be inconsistent.
Well, no. I mean, you asked if the movements of plates was always consistent through time. And I said that no, the plates are continually moving. Sometimes the movement will go into the other direction because of what happened with another plate. The other plates are continually either banging against each other, or they're drifting apart from each other, like at a ridge. They're diving down underneath each other, which is oceanic lithosphere diving beneath continental lithosphere. So the plates along the planet are continually moving. But in certain areas like the mid-Atlantic ridge, it's been stable for 180 million years of movement. And we know that because not only do we have the magnetic stripes that have shown that movement has occurred, and we also have the actual dates of the ocean floor themselves, which is this figure here. And so if we were to a geology timeline would have been constructed like this. Let me just give me like a minute here, Dustin, please. So
take your time. I'm not.
Thank you. you would have had around 600 to 400 million years ago, the Iapetus Ocean, which was positioned between continental masses, would basically was the proto-Atlantic, a precursor of the Atlantic Ocean. And in 540 million years ago, the Iapetus Ocean began to grow narrower due to subduction. We're talking about the Atlantic here. 420 million years ago, the Iapetus Ocean had completely disappeared, and the combined masses of the three continents formed the new continent of Laurasia, the northern component of the supercontinent of Pangaea. 340 million years ago, the Central Pangaean Mountains formed, which were the two continental masses coming together and crashing into one another and forming this now ancient mountain range, which we discussed. About 180 million years ago, and we have dates for all these, we have radiometric dating for all these events. We have the breakup of Pangaea and the formation of the Atlantic Ocean, and the breakup of Pangaea was done along the mid-Atlantic ridge, moving the continents of Europe and Africa apart from North America and Asia. So that's currently going on, and we have massive volcanism that happens along the ridge today, which you would expect. Iceland is about to erupt again, and there's hundreds of earthquakes that are happening every week in Iceland right as we speak. And
Do you
it
know what
is the
else is
mid-Atlantic
happening?
ridge.
Do you know what else is happening right now, Big Bad Mama?
Do you mean
Unprecedented
with the
amounts of
mid-Atlantic ridge?
absolutely. That's exactly what I mean.
Okay,
The-
yeah.
Unprecedented amounts of water are being dumped into the ocean via the ice caps, therefore creating larger and larger amounts of weight pushing down on the mid-Atlantic ridge, creating what's known as fissures and allowing for lava to spew up. My issue with your model is if there is nothing but continual subduction and abduction of heat being lost from the core over billions of years, we should not have any more
From the mantle.
from mantle, from which
It's
from any.
It's melting from the upper mantle, but just to be specific, the volcanism is not coming from the core. The core is acting to drive convection in the mantle and creating areas of melt in the upper mantle, but the volcanism itself is not coming from all the way down in the core.
There's huge plumes of mantle of not mantle of crustal mantle that are being subducted and being ejected into the deep core of the earth. That is actually happening. They have tested this. They have measured these cores and they have not come to temperature equilibrium yet. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that there is an issue with the way you're making these measurements. I'm telling you, like there's
Okay,
something wrong.
something fishy in Denmark? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that there's
What's this?
I'm not saying that there's necessarily a nefarious intent behind it. Okay,
I know,
but what
I
I'm telling
understand.
you is that like our whole method of measuring time is based on consistency of celestial movements and the prediction of a rhythmic movement over a successive period with a vector. The whole thing is damaged at the very core, that the thing that we use to make measurements. That's the reality. The one thing that scientists are afraid to admit to themselves is that our measurements, our method of measurements, are clumsy and very very primitive.
I would say GPS is not clumsy and can measure, you know, things to very small sizes. Um, GPS is not clumsy. Magnetometer readings of rock units is not clumsy. In fact, the data can be duplicated all over, as can radiometric dating. But let me ask you a couple questions. Why would the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which has been mapped to 2,000 or 3,000 meters above the ocean floor, why wouldn't it have been compressed by what you're calling the glacier over
Glaciostatic.
the yeah,
Glaciostatics. Ask me
right?
that one
The
more time.
glaciers didn't. Well, the glacier,
Because okay,
the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. I'll finish it. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge doesn't. It goes down the entire length of the Atlantic Ocean, so glaciers didn't reach beyond, maybe Kansas City, according to what Ken Hovind says, and I think I believe him on that. But so that would be, it would reach down a certain length of the ridge, maybe. But you're talking about it's crossing the equator. There was no ice down at the equator,
I
no
never
ice
made that
caps, no
claim.
evidence.
I never made
So
that
what?
claim.
So why would that ridge be 2,000 to 3,000 feet consistently? Meters. I'm sorry, 2,000 to 3,000 meters, if it was being pressed down by glacial ice or water.
So if I'm stepping out in the center of a glass table, okay, would I expect the cracks to be at the edge, or would I expect the cracks to be right under where my weight is?
Are you sitting at the edge of the table or in the middle?
No, I said I was walking out towards the center of the table, of a glass table. Would I
Okay, well,
expect the cracks?
it would probably crack in the center.
Right. So if you're dealing with a mid-Atlantic ridge where all this material is mounding up on because it is the point of least resistance for the weight to allow for the shelf to crack, I would expect a ridge to be there because one side is weaker than the other.
Okay. I just don't. Maybe we should take some questions now and just kind of see where we stand. But I understand. That's an interesting. I haven't heard that argument before, and I don't buy it for many reasons. But it's interesting.
Big Bad Mama,
Can we? Yeah.
do you want people to come in, or do you want me to just get questions from the chat?
Well, let's hear if Missing Maud and Claude, if they're still here, if they have questions.
Yeah, he's in the chat, but Claude, you could come in if you want.
I don't really have any questions myself.
Chris,
I've been busy reading chat, so sorry.
Did you understand any of the things I said, Missing Maud?
I'm gonna rewatch it again because I was busy like reading and talking in chat. So
Okay.
I it's not that I didn't understand. I just didn't gather everything. And Claude left. He had to yeah.
he's in the chat, but
Well, if he asks a question he can ask a question from the chat if he doesn't want to come in.
Let me see if we got any. I think Christian was asking something.
Yeah.
I want Christian's questions.
Yeah, Christian, come in and ask what you were going to ask earlier.
yeah, you could come in, Christian, if you want, and you too, Claude. Anyone else want to either? It's the
Do we have many people watching? Is this popular or what?
her
Let me see.
logo.
There's
3,000.
There's 6 watching right now, but there was 7 earlier.
I was excited there for a second.
Mr. Logo, you could come in. Claude, Christian, anyone wants it could come in.
Christian said, "What's Big Mad Mama's favorite color? Black." No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Red. Blood red is my favorite color.
Uh-oh.
And then blue.
Question for Dustin from Claude. What is the age of the Earth?
I wouldn't know.
He thinks you're a flat earther too.
Well, I don't know why he thinks that.
Because they're
no, I don't. I'm
not
I'm not a flat earther. I did make an argument for light bending around a flat surface, allowing for a round reflection, but that doesn't make me a flat earther.
Yeah, some people on YouTube, they're just, if you don't agree with them, they just put any label on you.
So we have dates for the age of the Earth from moon rocks, meteorites, and Earth rocks. And it puts it at about 4.5 billion years. And these are independent dates from meteorites, moon rocks, and then the oldest Earth rocks are less, of course, because the crust and lithosphere are continually recycling. So we don't have the original, component of. So I think the oldest date is like maybe 4 billion years on Earth for maybe like a zircon. Not positive about that, but that's my answer to Claude's question. Next question.
Let's see.
Claude,
I don't.
I don't see any.
There you go. You do it, Logan, so you can put it on the screen for him.
Okay.
Oh, let me get off of my share screen here.
I don't see any more questions. Anyone else have any questions? Brother Pike or Brother Balls or Logo?
Brother balls. Why are you breaking brother balls?
Can I have Christian?
Wait, can you answer that, Big Bad Mama?
Can I have 22? Wait, where did he go? Did he leave?
Who?
Big Bad Mama?
BBM.
Oh, he probably lost connection or something. He'll probably be back.
That's okay. He'll be back.
He ended share screen and left on accident. This one is for the panel. Okay, let's see what he's got. Oh, okay, so it's for all of us. So you want $20 from all of us.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Big Bad Mama will pay my share.
What happened?
Christian asks, can I have $20?
Of course. I'll give Christian the shirt off my back because he's my friend.
Aww.
Aww. See, Claude, why can't you be nice like that? Friggin' jerk. He's out there being mean to everyone.
Oh, he's being mean? Is he being mean to me?
Yeah. No, you're the only one he's not being mean to.
Okay, then that's okay.
Here's a
Does my religion.
Well, Brother Pike's for.
This is for Dustin.
Yeah, what do you think, Dustin? Are you there?
No, my religion is not dependent on certain interpretation of geology. No, I don't have a religion. I call myself Christian, but that doesn't mean that I subscribe to the religious implications of being such.
Oh,
okay. I have an answer for that. So I think a lot of creationists, their interpretation of geology does depend on their religion because they have already accepted a 6,000 year timeline based on the genealogy in Genesis. And so everything has to conform to that date. And so you'll notice, or to Noah's flood, of course, as well. So you'll see how the science, it's not even science because you're not supposed to start with conclusions like that. You're supposed to let the data tell you how old something is. You're not supposed to start with the age of something and then interpret your evidence into that already predetermined age.
Let me ask you a question, Big Bad Mama. If we're based on the interpretation of data and whether or not we can accurately dictate an age from it, Do you believe that if we were told a lie, say as like a psyop, that the year was 2000, it was actually 1900? Do you believe that you and I, as an individual in this world, could come up with enough data to disprove the date, allowing for the truth to be known?
Okay, so it's really 1990, but we're living today, and we're supposed to come up with evidence.
Yeah. How can we prove it? If it was you and me, right? How would we prove that we were being lied to about what date it was?
Well, so we would look at anything in our lives that wasn't around in 1990, such as our computers, our flat screen televisions.
No. Look, we could have these things in 1990. Okay, the only thing that stops us in our mind is our understanding of history. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, in reality, right, they cut 1,000 years out of history. All right. Or no, they added 1,000 years in history. Okay, and they're telling us it's the year 2000, when in reality it's this is a thought experiment. How would you and I? No, seriously. I'm asking you, like, how? No, I'm not.
I'm mind right now.
I'm asking a serious. I'm asking a serious question. Okay, I'm serious. I want to ask you this question. I want you to think about this.
Okay.
If it was really the year 1990, but the government had made us a conspiracy since before we were born to change it to the year 2000, how would you and I come up with enough evidence to prove we were actually in the 1900s, not the year 2000s?
Okay. So everything that we see has a date of 2000 on it. The government has dated everything, every piece of mail, everything that we have, and they've put the year, they've changed it to 2023 when it's really 1990. Is that what you're saying?
1923.
Oh,
it's really 1923. Right. Like the year's the same.
Okay.
Right? Like the year is the same, right? Really, it's 1923 right now, but everybody believes that it's the year 2000. How would we prove that it was 1923? What piece of evidence could we take, right? And with consistency, prove everywhere that it's actually 1923 and not 2023? How could we do that? Is there a method? Like, could we nail it down like that?
I'd have to think about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know at this point. I'd have to think about it.
I mean, we're scientists, right?
I don't know.
Okay, okay. I got you.
Yeah, but I need to think about it. It is a thought experiment, and it's an interesting question, but I do need to think about that. It's good. Good. Oh, Christian has a comment on there. Christian had a comment before this, Ghost. Can you post it? It was down toward the bottom.
Oh, I wish I could do it. I can't.
Crossing the road Gangster? Like they're on a mission?
I don't know.
No, the one before that.
It's
Okay, question for the panel.
Why are chickens?
Why are chickens exact?
Not that one. Okay. No, not that. Not that one, Logan.
Okay,
the one that you just had on there. You had one before. Let's go to the older one first.
Does your religion depend upon a certain interpretation?
No, not that one. Not that one.
I'm looking.
The one that's you are doing great too. It's underneath that one. You had it posted on there already once, but it said basically that young Earth creation. It says yek something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, YEC seems to be a theology which mandates a certain interpretation. Blah.
Right. So that's kind of building off what we were talking about before. So what would your response be to Christian? I don't know why Missing Mod can't get that onto the thing
So
there, but
here's the thing, okay? Like, how do we measure time? We do it off of consistency. How do we know that there isn't an ultimate clock somewhere that's keeping reference with what the real time is? Right, like the closest thing we have to an accurate measurement of time, and that's because nobody else can come up with anything better, is a cesium clock. Like, that's it. Like, it's the predictable flashing in and out.
We have radiometric dating, which is a pretty accurate way to tell time as well. But you know, the time.
Like, could you take radiometric dating and prove that it was actually 1923?
No.
This hypothetical question I would have to think about. I mean, it's purely hypothetical, and it's something that's not going to happen. So it's a thought experiment only, but it's not reality.
But it calls into question a lot of the assumptions, doesn't it? I mean, in all honesty, it frames it. Why not?
Because it's just plain stupid.
What do you mean?
You know, radiometric dating works, except in a few cases, which has been shown, mainly because young Earth creationists have got hold of something, they haven't been truthful in what they've supplied to labs. You know, this is just nonsense.
See, I hate that he just calls us all liars. You know, that's just ridiculous.
I didn't call you all liars.
He just said creative.
Let me just break this up. Let me just break this up, and let me add.
He's saying this to me,
though.
Don't
say things that I didn't say, Mod. You know that. You've said a few things in the chat that I didn't say.
You
just
said creationist.
Well,
you said creationist.
Let's just keep having a discussion.
I didn't say call you liars. There's a big difference.
Dude, everything was fine until this dude came up in here and started spewing his bull crap.
Dustin, it's
well, it is. It's about time you were told it instead of having stuff blown up your. You know, it's just nonsense. Go on. If you want to do that, this perfectly suits Proverbs Guy or Hoven's channels. There's got to be some channels where there's some sanity and science.
We are Christians.
I tried to provide science, Claude.
It has nothing to do with Kent or the Proverb Guy.
You provided
it has to
science,
do with being a Christian.
But all the rest is just
Dude, what's wrong with the science that I provided? I didn't make any claims to the age of the Earth. What do you mean?
You didn't provide any science. You've been reading.
I provided papers. I have papers here.
Where from? The creationist website. Of course, you were reading.
No, this guy. His name's Bonetti. I forget what the hell is this guy?
Boneheady, did you say?
I'll give you the papers. You want the papers?
Yes, good.
Okay, like, this is actual science, dude. It's an actual search.
Give me the quote.
They dredged up these limestones.
Give me the papers. Give me the papers. Give me the reference.
Post the paper. Have Gangster Ghost post the paper, and I might even have a couple papers, and we'll post them in the description of the video afterwards. Christian Pike does have a question. If you could bring it up, Logan or Media or Missing Mod, please. It says, Logan, put this question up.
I have no creative control, so I can't put anything up. Yeah.
Logan, put this question up, please. Can modern scientific breakthroughs be successfully incorporated into end times biblical theology? My answer is yes. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if that's for me or for Dustin. Do you want to take a stab at that?
I'm busy putting references in the private chat. What was the question now?
Do that later.
Okay. Like I did actual research, dude. Like, you're coming at me like I'm a novice or something. Like, yeah, I did.
Dude.
I
shall nominate you for the Nobel Prize.
Let's look at the question here.
For your research.
So
You're
Dustin,
just
can
as
you read
rude
that?
as Kent.
Put this question up, please. Can modern scientific breakthroughs be successfully incorporated into the end times biblical theology? My answer is yes. I believe that anytime you make a prediction about the future, that there's going to be someone that looks at that prediction and makes it their life mission to make it reality.
Okay. See, I wouldn't agree with that question because I don't believe in end times biblical theology. So I don't think that that's really a question for me. But I do believe in modern scientific breakthroughs, and I've discussed many of them, I think, in this stream. Any other questions here? I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we pretty much did our stuff. Anyway, buddy,
Yeah.
look,
Thanks, Dustin. That was
I
good
did
discussion.
actually. I mean, I actually did do this research. You might want to look these people up. One of the guys' name is Bonetti. I think actually these are all his papers. They were doing dredges, and they were looking for all kinds of different stuff. But what they came up with was interesting. So, thanks for your time, Big Bad Mama. Appreciate you.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you, Ghost. Do you want to wrap it up, or do you just want to start talking about something else, or what?
Oh, it's up to you.
I mean, we could go anywhere. I don't care. Like I have a couple of radiometric dating questions. Actually, I think that's in my other pocket.
That would be,
Like, okay, so here's a question.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if there's C14 questions, why don't we save that for a whole separate discussion?
We can do that. Okay.
And we will, because on our next get together, whatever this series is, the Dustin Big Bad Mama conferences, we'll talk about C14.
Cool. Yeah,
Does that
that'll
sound like
be
a
the
good
next topic
topic?
for research. Absolutely. Cool. I'm a bit more personally versed in that. Like, I didn't know anything about the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. I had to throw this together in a couple of days, and I personally think I did a pretty good job.
I think it generated a good discussion.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. So I'm all for wrapping it up at this point, but that could just be me. I could just leave the stream and go into the chat maybe.
That's up to everybody else.
It's up to Ghost.
Not working.
It's his show. Ghost?
Whatever you guys like.
Oh, did Dustin leave?
Oh, Dustin left. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay. Well, how do you think that discussion went, Missing Mod?
I think it went good. I can't wait to re-listen to it again. So,
did my figures come up okay?
Yeah, I think you did really good. You guys both did awesome. I really liked it. I enjoyed it.
I wish I would have been able to put up. I also had slides and things, but like it would have made everything a lot easier. But I thought I could do it from my phone, and I couldn't do it from my phone.
That's the first time I've actually used figures on a stream, so that was pretty cool to be able to do that.
And the thing that and I seriously need an answer for this, man. How do you get those subduction zones where the rock has been exposed to water, right, for all those years, and like the heat never just runs out? I don't understand, because it has to be from the from the mantle. It has to be receiving its heat from the core, right? Like that's
Right.
where else would it be coming from? So
Right.
if you're constantly cycling that cold underneath the hot, I mean, eventually the heat's going to run out.
Okay, can you
Billions
do me
of
this?
years.
Can you do me this favor? You made the statement that the subducted plates are going down into the core. And please supply me the paper for that in the description, because if we're going to talk,
I'm going to
if we're
have
going
to
to,
look
so
for it,
later,
but hold on.
But
Okay, yeah.
if you do find that, then we can talk about that. But I would need to see that paper before I could discuss it.
Copy that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there's weird things, man, that like I've been looking at that call a lot of question into it. Like that one in particular is a biggie. Like they don't have an answer for it. Kind of like the accretion disk. Now, if they're saying with this new discovery of how they have to push back the age of the universe from what it was to whatever it is now, I can't even remember the numbers. How are you going to explain the accretion disks of the universe holding itself together for all that time? When you have the rotation around a center, the center has to go faster than the outside of the disk, therefore allowing for the stars to spread. Like you wouldn't see the arms like you do.
Oh, Mr. Mod, do you know how I can make you a
We can make that
moderator?
another topic.
A mod on Restream or on YouTube?
I don't know. Both.
If you want to make me a mod on YouTube, you got to go to the YouTube chat and click my name, and then it'll give you the option. But on Restream, I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Can you flash a Christian made a kind of a comment here that was interesting. It says, well, the purpose of the question.
Hey, and Gangster,
Yeah.
send me your email again, and I'm gonna make you a partner on mine, so you can use my Restream too.
Thank you. I made you moderator.
Oh, thank you.
Will you make me a partner and a moderator, Missing Mon?
I will if I can. See, I don't know. I think you can only do 2 for the level that I'm on, but
gosh, come on.
I'm sorry.
I can make you. Could I make you a moderator on here?
Thank you, Gangster. That would be great. Okay,
Christian
so
makes a point in the
yes.
chat saying, serious question, why can't we all agree on things that are objectively true? That's concerning. And I agree with him. The age of universe, the age
it's
of the
objective.
earth is it's, I think it's pretty well settled, as is evolution.
Well, hold on. Is it settled before or after the new measurements? Because before it was 13.4 billion years. Now it's something like 24 billion or a trillion or something like that.
No, that's not right. We roughly know
I know it's
whether
not.
it was a big bang or not. There was something that precipitated the start, and I think we have that down to a few 100,000 years difference.
What was the total now? What was the total age now? Like the big number is.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but there's been a few different things with the James Webb Telescope, but I don't think it's anything settled on that yet. But maybe Big Bad Mama, do you know?
Well, isn't you're talking about the age of the universe?
It's not settled.
Are you talking about the age of the universe?
Yeah.
Well,
wasn't it 13 billion, and then they had to push. 13.7, and then they had to push it back like 20 some odd.
No,
that recently, because
that I would need to look at. But anyway, we're not going to settle the age of the universe today. But can you get that question back? That well, the purpose of the question, Ghost.
Oh, the purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. Here
so
it is.
Christian's been asking questions, and he says here, well, the purpose of the question is for me to challenge fellow theists we are going to face more and more situations like the one that happens with the advent of Darwin. So that's an interesting comment.
I'm confused. Are you saying that's a bad thing?
Well, he's saying,
Christian? Like,
I think he's saying that theists are going to have to probably accept more of science. Or they're going to be left behind. And of course, as a geologist, I would include, plate tectonics, evolution as some of those, sciences that are being denied now by creationists. So but he's asking you that, or he's telling you that, Dustin.
I don't know what necessarily I'm being left behind from. Like, what is that even? From science. Dude, do me a favor. Stop talking to me right now, okay? Like, I'm trying to say something, okay? Can you let me finish?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let the man finish.
I don't necessarily know what I would be left behind from, in all honesty, because I have the ability to go to the library and read the very same books that all these scientists, quote unquote, do. And I have a fairly good comprehension of what's being said and how to define things. So, look, they don't know for sure anything. They haven't locked anything down. Every time they make an estimate, it turns out that they have to go farther back. Right? I mean, every single time they come up like, oh, it's this old. Then they go find something else out. Oh, it's older than that. If you can't find a final resting number for me, then I'm just like, it's not exactly science, because that's all it really comes back to. Physics comes back to numbers. Science comes back to numbers. I mean, the only thing that remains science is the method.
Well, I mean, you do have to admit that I think you're a young Earth creationist, though, right, Dustin?
Yes.
I don't think that the universe is nearly billions of years old, okay? I have lots of reasons to think that it's a little bit younger than that.
How much?
There's only... why are you asking me that, Claude?
Well, because
hey, what color underwear are you wearing? Hey, Claude, what color underwear are you wearing? Do you brush your teeth? Do you know not to eat yellow snow?
What a stupid question.
Hey, could you hand your credit card to the first 13-year-old you see? Would you do that for me, Claude?
You are just rude and crude. Thank you very much.
We might as well try to wrap it up at this point.
Now, I came on here as the professor of geology.
Hi, Christian. Do you have a question for us?
No, I was just coming on because Logan told me to come on.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Thank you. Are you sure you don't have
any love, buddy?
I have questions, but just not about any of these things.
Brother Pike,
what's up, Christian?
Moderator. Brother Pike, I made you a moderator.
Oh, that's a poor decision-making process, Logan, because it was when Steven and them made me a moderator that everything went downhill, because I'm actually the engineer behind their demise. And part of my plan is to kind of warm up to people and be nice and act like I don't want a hat just so I can get one. Step 2, nobody knows. Step 3, profit. So, you're going in the wrong direction.
Step 3, profit. This guy.
Oh, but I did want to say one thing.
Anyway.
The world's probably not younger than Egypt. Just something to keep in mind.
Well, the Egyptian dynasties continued right through the global flood, so-called global flood.
I think isn't the Pyramid of Khufu believed to have been like 25 or 2600 BC?
That sounds about right.
I know some people now are trying to put a much more ancient date on the Sphinx because they They said there's evidence of extreme water erosion. I don't know if that's factual or not, but there's a lot of folks who say that.
Yeah, Egypt had kind of a screwy calendar system though.
Yeah, no, my only point was that they're old. You know, I do think that even people who take a very, very young Earth interpretation should, at the very least, try to find a theological position that allows for monolithic societies to have come to be. And I think 6,000 is a little bit strict on that.
Yes, it's only several billion years out.
Well, that was why I introduced my own theory in the comments. None of you seem to notice, but I said that the world is 2 billion years old, plus or minus 2 billion years. That covers all the bases.
Oh man, let me ask you something, Claude. If the world was ever truly a molten ball of rock, why is there any gold or any hard or heavy elements on the surface?
Well, it was truly a ball of molten rock. You know, it's a fact.
So when you smelt gold out of material, where do you find the gold? At the very bottom, right? Why is there gold on the surface?
I don't know.
Weird. It sounds like I'm not the one being left behind by science. I know.
Well, I think you
Believe
are.
me, I know.
You know, I'm not a scientist. You're not a scientist. I take notice of.
I'm a lot closer than
Hovind.
you. I'm a
Hovind is
lot closer than you.
Your man Hovind is a shooter of rubber bands and a maker of paper airplanes and a preacher.
Yeah,
He's
that
not
way
a
you can get both
scientist,
of
but
your
you
eyes
take
at the same
notice of
time.
him.
well, I happen to like his message. Right? Like, it doesn't matter if I believe in what he says. Right.
What's his message?
Right. Do you listen to poetry because you think you're going to get educated by it? Or is it something that passes time?
What's his message? What's Hovind's message?
His message?
Like?
His message is that if you listen to the Bible, you're going to find the answer. That's his message.
It's delusional. I don't read fairy tales and find out truth.
Christian Pike, you summoned me.
Uh-oh, the demon.
Who is
you
this? Oh, that's Ryan.
Saying,
how you doing, Ryan?
Wait a minute. Hold on just a second. Wait a minute. This is not Christian Pike. This is Professor Geology.
I do not abide by your false titles.
But do, though.
Oh, Aiden. Never mind. I take it back. It's Aiden. Although you did sound like Ryan a second ago.
I do not know what you are talking about, Dustin. But I am here.
Now you really gave yourself away.
I am here to read the truth from the Necronomicon.
Oh, don't go there. I'll kick you in your nuts.
Christian, you said earlier that you were the cause of Steven's channel going downhill.
Wait a minute.
I just must say to you, sir, that is not dead which can eternal lie. And with strange eons, even death may die.
What is that, Lovecraft?
That is all that I must say to you, sir. And I bid you farewell.
Bye, demon.
That was weird.
The demon makes an appearance every now and again.
I mean, who is that guy? Am I right?
On that note, maybe we should wrap it up.
Okay. It's up to you guys.
Guess
Much love, Big Bad Mama.
Here these days.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Dustin. That was good discussion. Christian, you gave some good questions. Claude, great to see you. And Gangster Ghost, thank you for hosting this.
Y'all never did tell me why chickens are good.
One more thing. Will you guys come back later on round 7 when Hot Brother Pike has it on?
Did you
Oh
ever
yeah,
look up that thing on cats
Yes,
in the evolutionary chart?
they used to be
I
dogs.
didn't research it.
You didn't, or you did?
I'll check it out. I didn't.
Okay.
Did
Well,
not.
I did the
I will
Marianas
though.
Trench for you, or not the Mid Atlantic Ridge. I don't know why I'm stuck on the Marianas
Right.
Trench. There's something there
I
that
don't
I
think
know,
need
but
so.
to
when I
do some
saw
research on.
when I saw you in the chat saying that when I saw you in the chat saying that you were studying the Mariana Trench, I
Challenging
kind of
indeed.
like I got this panicky feeling because I didn't want you to put all your time into something that we weren't supposed to be talking about. So I had to like respond immediately to you.
I misspoke. I was excited. I was excited to talk to
That's
you about
okay.
this because I happen to know
Yeah.
a little bit about it, and like I knew where to look because I did a report on this like in high school, so I kind of knew where to go and what to look for, and I found some interesting stuff, and I thought maybe because I kind of had an idea where you were gonna go, so I thought I'd offer an alternative.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Hi, Aiden.
Hey,
You missed
Ed.
Hi, Aiden.
the STD demon.
What happened?
You missed the ST demon. I guess he's gone back to Achilles.
He showed up.
Oh, did he show up? Oh, snap. Oh, everyone's leaving. Why is everyone leaving?
Hey, fair you.
I think we were going to end it here, but
Oh, were you?
Oh,
Sorry.
later on.
Totally
that's okay.
interrupted
You
things.
guys keep talking. I'm going to go get some food.
What happened is what I'm kind of wondering because I've kind of come in at the tail end of this.
They had
We had a
Oh, you mean
discussion. We had a discussion on the tectonic separation or glacioeostatics, whether one was the controlling factor of the separating plates or the other.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I'm glad that I didn't tune in because I'd prefer staying awake and not going to sleep at this point today. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure it was a really interesting discussion between you guys.
Saturday. Claude seemed to fall asleep.
Yeah, it sounded like it, didn't it?
Right,
I
Claude?
said before he had a little bit too much bourbon before the stream, you know. Yeah, he fell asleep at the wheel, if you know what I mean. Yes,
Are you there, Claude?
I am. Yes, I am right here.
Yeah.
Aiden, you type something in the YouTube stream. I can make you a moderator if you want.
Oh wow. I don't know if you want to give that to me though, Logan. Like you're just giving it out to everybody, aren't you? It's like
And you're a
just handing out
moderator. And you're
guns
a
to every Joe.
moderator. And you get to be a moderator.
Oh, you're a grubby
Next
schizophrenic
thing,
homeless
Achilles will
person.
be
You
a
get a
moderator.
gun.
I'd rather everybody have a gun, honestly.
You
I
can
don't
be.
think that's
I
a
would.
good idea, Dustin. I don't think
I
that's a
think
good
that's an
idea.
excellent idea. I think that's an excellent idea. I think everybody should own a gun.
I don't think
Absolutely
everyone should
everyone.
have the immediate means of ending someone else's life at their disposal, especially given how hot-tempered some people can be in certain situations. I feel
mean,
like the murder rate would
what's
skyrocket.
what's the difference between a gun and a bat at that rate? I
Um,
mean, I
I mean, a
I could just
gun
go get a
requires a
bat and
lot
end your
less.
life.
I mean, a gun requires a lot less effort to actually end someone's life, though. Like, you actually have to put a lot more effort into killing someone with a bat, and you have a lot more time when you're hitting someone with that bat to stop short of killing them before you realize what you're doing probably isn't the best, most well-advised thing to do in that situation. So, I'd argue those two things are
We
fundamentally
have
different from each other.
we have a well documented history of people surviving up to 27 shots consistently and consecutively until one unlucky individual catches it in the wrong spot.
So I
It
could just
being
shoot you
shot
4 or
and
5
killing
times and you'd be
somebody.
okay?
I've been shot. I've been shot 3 times. I've been shot. I survived each time. Give me a break.
Well, that's good that you survived, but in the unlucky situation where it nicked your carotid artery or something like that, chances are you wouldn't have survived.
I'm just saying everybody should have a gun because if I had a gun, somebody would have died that day. That's the
not
truth.
good, though. That's not like what
What
you're
do you
saying.
mean?
You're not advocating for a good system at that point, because if you're just killing people at that point out of anger and frustration, even if it's justified anger or frustration, like your odds of ending up in prison are still pretty decent, especially in the state that you're in. It's not like you're in the most conservative, gun-loving state in the union at the moment.
Buddy, I have only lost one court excursion with this state out of 10. I have
Well,
kicked
yeah, but
the
those were
shit out of
civil
this
cases,
state.
weren't
Out
they?
of 10.
No, they were criminal, they were civil. I've done all kinds of crazy shit in this court. They know me. I drive around here without registration, insurance, and practically my license plate is falling off. They don't fuck with me because I've sued them
Y'all quit
and
cussing
won.
on Ghost Channel.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I didn't say anything.
Aiden, you're a bad influence.
You know what? Christian? You just used your dad's voice right there. I could tell. You
I
pulled out
did
the
sort of a
dad
little bit.
voice
Yeah, I
there
did.
for a
Sorry.
minute.
Okay. I apologize.
Reach back there. I'll give you
And
what
the
for if you
one
do that again. I'll tell you
I'll
what.
give you something to cry about.
That's right.
and the one time I lost was because I was in the wrong. I admitted I was in the wrong, so I took the hit.
I have a
But
question
anyway.
on the philosophy of firearms.
What's that?
If both these hands are deadly weapons, do I have to register these?
Yes. Just
Well,
like when he registered his hand.
as
I
long as you have
technically
open
have to
carry, then it's all right.
register. I technically have to register my hands because of the special hand-to-hand technique training my dad gave me when I was a kid.
Yeah, Aiden.
I challenge you to a thumb wrestling match, Dustin. That's what I challenge you to.
Dude,
Me and
I
you,
will
we're gonna
pull your
thumb wrestle.
spleen. I will pull your spleen out through your thumb.
I'd really
That's probably not
appreciate
very
it if we
good.
could just
thoroughly
thumb
joking.
wrestle and my spleen remain intact. But
Yeah, maybe leave spleens out of it. I don't know.
like, I think I need that. Last I checked, I haven't opened up an anatomy textbook since ever. But yeah, last
You
I
do
checked, I
need
think
your
I do need
spleen.
that.
Yeah, you do need that.
I mean, I've
Okay.
watched House MD, so I think I'm pretty up to speed on
I
all
also
modern
watched
medical
House MD,
practices.
so I feel the same level of confidence.
you can lose your appendix without dying, but
You
it's
can lose your
still
life.
like you still have to
Can
have.
we just agree that Foreman on that show should have died rather than that other person? Like, Foreman's such a wet blanket on that whole show. I hate him so much.
What's the one guy's name? The calm, collected doctor.
Is there a calm, collected doctor on
who's
House?
Like the guy that House goes and talks to, who's like responsible.
Oh, Wilson, his friend.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Wilson.
oncologist.
Yeah,
Wilson.
that's kind of
Mr.
funny because of Castaway. Wilson.
Yeah. Wilson. Wouldn't it be great at the
That
end of the
makes a
show
lot
he
of
was just
sense
a
now.
figment of his imagination? He was just like
Missing
a pen
Mod
that
makes a
was
good
in
point in the
House's
comment
overcoat the
section.
whole time.
Xanax.
Like the freaking drugs that always had him the whole time, and the doctors were just keeping him around because he had good ideas.
Missing Mod, you love that show. When House starts talking about religion, do you just kind of like plug your ears and go la 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 la?
He makes good points. I'm sorry, he does make good points. He does make good points.
That was it. Yeah, that was it for you, Missing Mod. Was that when you stopped watching? He was like, "If God real, why bad thing happen?" And Missing Mod was like, "Oh my God, my faith has been destroyed."
Inquiring minds want to know.
It's true. It's true. Let me just ask you that, Christian. Let me just ask you that deep-seated philosophical question. If God real, why bad thing happened?
I'll get back to you later this afternoon regarding that question.
Oh, are you doing a teaching?
Yeah. I mean, it won't be on that. I'm just off, obviously.
What do you consider bad?
Yeah.
Aiden?
What do I consider bad?
Like, what do you mean? Do you mean like children with cancer? Like people getting carjacked?
Yeah, I would consider that to be bad.
What do you mean?
Did we just go from House MD to the problem of evil?
Yeah, we kind of did, didn't we?
It's a weird pivot.
I wasn't actually expecting. It kind of caught me with my pants down here, Dustin. But what I consider it to be is something that violates my personal form of morals and ethics.
Like, not even the
Quad is a good example of bad.
Well, here, let me. Okay,
Yeah, like
Hey, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me flip. Hold on. Question, Aiden. Okay,
well, you
if God
gotta
doesn't
understand the
exist,
equation
why does
there.
babies having cancer?
What? Why is
Yeah,
Why
bad thing.
does babies having cancer?
okay? Did anybody else hear him cut off there, or was that just me?
I think that was the whole
Why
question.
does
Why
babies
does
having
babies having
cancer?
cancer?
No, I think you're cutting.
I'm not cutting off. Every time you say it, it cuts off for you at babies having cancer. If God doesn't exist, why does babies having cancer? That's what I've heard twice now.
yeah. Are you there, Dustin?
Not a bad thing. Why is baby? Can you hear me?
Babies having cancer. Yes, I can hear you now. Babies having cancer. Yes,
Hello, hear
hello.
me?
Babe. Yes, hello.
Claude.
Okay, so if God
Hello.
doesn't exist, then why is babies having cancer a bad thing?
We could show it's a
Why?
bad thing because we
We're,
have.
I don't understand. Like, what's the
Well,
problem?
I'm trying to explain to you. I'm trying to explain to you. So, we are a social animal. And
Yes.
we, as an extension of us being a social animal, have a natural proclivity for the progenation of our young. Not only our personal young, but the young of other offspring of us. So that's why we have a proclivity towards taking care of babies. They actually have traits as far as how their faces are formed and the proportions of their faces that's been shown scientifically to invoke certain emotions in us are tied to that empathetical center of our brain. So when a baby gets cancer, that either threatens our own personal progenation, if it's our child, or threatens the progenation of somebody else's child, and resultantly will result in just resultantly will result resultantly will lead to, I should say, a less diverse gene pool as a result. Like that's ultimately the unseen factor that's driving that forward. But on a very basic level, I would say it's the empathy driven by our social capacity.
Claude.
Yes.
That seems pretty flimsy when you're dealing with entire prisons full of child molesters, rapists, and thieves.
Oh,
What about
and
them?
Like the
Dino
whole.
Pedo Land is one too.
Come on, Claude. What you're saying is relevant. I agree, but you're throwing a monkey wrench in the conversation.
Well, Claude, I just want
Well,
to tell
it's
you, maybe
true.
No, I
And
just acknowledge what you're saying is true. I'm not disagreeing.
well,
Mr. Hoven
But it's
defends
not
it.
germane or relevant in any way of this conversation over here. What I'm trying
Oh,
to say
sorry.
is that a lot of those individuals who are on death row for these crimes are mostly atheist.
Oh,
That's not
no,
true
they're
at all,
not.
actually. The
They all
majority
tend
of
to be
death row inmates
Oh,
are religious people. That's
give
not
me a
true.
break.
That's
Give
not
me a
true,
break.
Dustin. I
They
know
claim
that for a
give
fact to
no.
not be true.
I've been
No,
in
that's not
prison.
true.
I've been
That
in
doesn't matter.
prison. Don't give me
Anecdotal
that
evidence does
crap.
not matter.
It's not
Anecdotal evidence does
anecdotal.
not matter for.
Let me
Yes, it
explain
is.
something to you. Let me
Stop
explain something to
shouting.
you then, Mr.
Stop
Anecdotal
shouting.
Evidence, okay? You know why people in prison turn out to be religious or end up claiming to be that way? Because
Oh
they
my
get
gosh.
religious
What?
perks. They get religious perks. It's
Right, right, but they're
110%
all
true.
secretly
You get
atheists,
special
though.
trays.
But they're all
Uh,
secretly atheists.
right, because you know very many Christians that commit rape and murder on a regular basis
Yeah, I
to
would
become
say
a
that they
career
committed.
criminal.
I'd say that they committed as just as much a
Right.
rate as anybody else in our society because I don't think Christianity alone is a significant enough deterrent in people's minds to prevent them
You
from
are
doing something
so
like that if they
biased.
haven't heard with. It's not true. Like if you look at
Yeah, it
pedophilia,
is.
like look, if you looked into pedophilia as an actual ailment, as a disease, it's something that affects people whether they're religious or not. There are religious people that have pedophilia. There are atheist people who have pedophilia. And there are people out there who
Right.
are pedophiles who have never enacted on their earth, not saying that it's good in any context whatsoever, but have never acted on their urges. They just have those urges and have found a way to manage them. So this is ultimately an issue that is not just, oh, it's just atheists that have this. That's not true. It's objectively not true that that's the case.
That's absolutely true. I believe me when I say this. I've been to death row. I've seen those things. Like I was a janitor in one of the prisons. And you talk to those people. There's not a Christian in there. They're not Christian. They game the system by claiming they're Christian. They either game the system by claiming they're Christian or they game the system by claiming they're Muslim. That's
They
the
have
game.
nothing. They
Who are
have
you
nothing
to
but to
judge?
gain.
Judge not,
They do
lest you
actually.
be judged, Dustin.
They have nothing but
You
things to
get to
gain,
go.
not only through benefits like material benefits, but they have nothing but to gain spiritually,
Do you know what? Do you
so
know
to
what you
speak.
gain if you claim to be a Christian? You gain chapel rights. You get out of your cell at once every other Sunday.
Oh,
You
and you
gain,
get
yeah.
tax-free
There's a
status
reason.
too. Oh no, that's Dr. Hovind here.
Would you shut up, dude? I'm not even talking to you right now, okay? No, seriously, okay? Like if you're a Muslim, you get a special tray, right? And then you get special shower privileges whenever everybody else is out at that church. All right?
Okay, but
That's how you game the
that's still
system. You claim to
anecdotal
be a certain
evidence, though,
status.
Dustin. You're
It's
saying
really
that
not
you have been there
anecdotal.
personally. Yes, it is. You saying that you have been there personally and you've seen these things for yourself is anecdotal. That's an anecdote from you about your personal experience that you are trying to use as evidence. Therefore, it being
I
anecdotal
don't.
evidence.
Well, it doesn't have to be anecdotal because you can check me and ask and look it up because that's actually the case,
All right,
right? In
hold
most
on.
places, when you claim to have a religious status, you get special perks in prison systems. It's how it works.
Well, I'll look into the actual statistics of this right now, real quick. Hold on.
Cough.
Go
What
right on ahead.
percentage of U.S. death row inmates identify as atheists?
No. How about you put an honest search in there? How many of them claim to be Christian to game the system? And ask Google that
How
and
could
see
you
what that
objectively
statistic is.
evaluate that, though?
Yes.
How could you
Who are you to
evaluate
judge?
that?
How can you objectively evaluate that everybody in there isn't just claiming to be Christian? You're
Well,
sitting there trying to
That's the
use Google
deepest
to
that you can
justify your
go
percent.
statistically. Asking someone their opinion
Well,
on that
no,
is the
it's
deepest
really
that you can
not.
go without having a mind probing
Oh
device that you
dear
can
God
use
in
to read the
heaven.
inner workings of someone's work. No, you're just Dustin.
Well,
This
then
is
it's
an extremely
arbitrary all the way
flimsy
around.
argument on your mind. This is an
It's really
extremely
not.
arbitrary.
It's really not. It's really
You
not.
have
People
used
make
your
decisions.
arbitration to determine that these are people who are not religious. The closest thing we have to an objective truth
You're
on this is what we have statistically.
you're using your arbitration to believe Google's statistic numbers because it suits your argument. And you're
I
filibustering
actually don't
even
know if it suits
because
my argument right now. I'm looking into it.
I'd be willing to bet that it does, but that's only because it's subjective and it's the way that you're typing the search in. I could find
I
data on
openly
Google to
shared with
supply.
you.
I could find data to support any argument on Google. It doesn't matter. I could find fake data to support my argument on Google. It's arbitrary. My point to you is that in my experience, count it or not, is that anybody claiming to be a rebel is trying to game the system, and I've seen multiple times. And anybody who's on death row, you think they're not trying to find anything that alleviates their issues? Give me a freaking break, dude. To be Christian
Yeah, well, Jeffrey
if I was in
Dahmer.
America, but if I was in Chinese, I'd claim to be an atheist because it would suit me. It would suit me best. I'm
Well,
gonna do
Jeffrey
shit.
Dahmer was saved by the videos of Kent Hovind. Jeffrey Dahmer was saved by the
Thank you for
videos
that
of Kent
completely
Hovind. That's another
erroneous
fact.
and irrelevant fact that has
Well,
nothing to
it's
do
not
with anything that I'm
erroneous.
talking about. It is. Thank you for an answer to a question nobody asked you. You
he
special
was a
little
Christian. I'm going to
butterfly.
speak.
Please go
I'm
give your
allowed to
credit
speak.
card to the first 13-year-old you see. Please
You're
do
just
that.
a
Get
disgusting
credit card,
person.
13-year-old. Give it to him. Just go do that. Go.
No,
That's my advice to you.
No,
Go fly a
I'm
kite.
not a,
Go fly a kite.
I'm not a boy.
Go
I'm not
fly
a
a
boy
kite.
that goes to pedo
Fly
land.
a kite. Fly a kite.
Dustin,
I'm not
Dustin,
Fly a
Zaire.
kite.
come on.
You're a
That's enough.
disgrace.
That's enough.
You
Come
know.
on.
Yeah, that's Dustin's level of intellectual argument. He just crazy.
You're
The only
bringing up
13-year-old.
people and
The only
things that have nothing to do
13-year-old.
with our conversation. You're commenting
The
on
only
my mental capacity to hold a conversation.
you
Dude,
you
stop interjecting
you.
with random pieces of information that
No,
have nothing to
I'm
do.
going to
They're
speak.
not
You've
germane.
had
Shut your
you've had your
mouth.
chance.
Shut your
Give me
mouth,
a
you
chance.
French fraud.
Dustin,
Ribbit, ribbit.
Dustin,
What?
Dustin.
Give me a chance. You've hogged the conversation. It's my turn. Is it my turn or not?
Logan, is it Claude's turn to talk?
Yeah, everyone gets to talk. What do you want? Oh, Claude, can you look in the private message?
Yes.
Thank you. Dustin, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm
Dustin, are you there?
fine. I'm good.
Oh. No, do I get a chance to say a few things?
Yeah, you can.
This disgusting insinuation that I might find a 13-year-old is just ridiculous. In fact, the only person that I know of, a Christian, that seems to be interested in that sort of thing is the person that Kent welcomed to his Dino land, and that's a fact. But getting back to the God question, this Christian God is actually a very bloodthirsty God, quite petty, quite unforgiving, a bit of a control freak, doesn't like women, fairly homophobic, kills babies. So there's a few facts for you to consider. That's all I have to say at the moment.
So
We've had Pointless Minute with Jean-Claude Van Fraud. Thank you for the froggy information.
is that
Go
really all
ribbit
that you've
yourself.
got to offer up, man? Come on.
Yeah, it's funny. This is great. This is showing the real Dustin again. It's good. I like it.
Ribbit, ribbit.
Look,
All right,
the
buddy.
highest statistic I've been able to find of religious people in the American prison system is a bit over 1%. Is what I've been able to find of self-identifying atheists in the American prison. Now, I have no doubt. I would even be willing to give you 5%. I'd be willing to give you 5 times the amount of people that self-identify as atheists are lying, and that it makes up 5% of the prison population. I think that's a reasonable thing to grant you, given the circumstances that you've described. I think that 5 times the amount of people being dishonest than honest. Like, I'd even, if you really wanted to go extreme with it, maybe 10 times. But that's still 1/10 of the overall prison population. If 9 out of 10 people are
So
lying about it, that's still
let me
1/10 of
get
the
this
overall
straight.
prison population.
You think Pookie and Ray Ray doing drive-bys on Charlatan and Carl are good little Christian boys? That's what you're telling me right now.
I think that
Like the
they think that God
90%
is
of
going to
people
forgive them for what
who,
they did, like most people who are Christians think is
oh,
going to happen.
I
Like, do you
see.
think that?
So they
Do you
get
think most
there.
people in the world think that they're like? Do you think most people that are murderers think that they're pieces of garbage? Do you think that they think that they're horrible people? No. If you look into most of the case studies that have been done on serial killers, most of them do think, "Oh well, God's gonna forgive me. It's gonna be all right." You know, like Ed Gein, the guy that ended up making a bunch of furniture from body parts of various different people. He was well known as saying, "Oh yeah, God's just going to forgive me for all of that, and He understands because my mother tortured me as much as she did." Like, people justify their actions through religious means all the time.
Once saved,
That's
always saved.
arbitrary, and you know it.
It's no
That's
less
arbitrary,
arbitrary.
and you
It's
know it.
no less arbitrary than you saying that those people are just lying based off of anecdotal evidence. It's no less arbitrary.
It is that. Well, what do you? So, well, let me get this straight. You think that people who commit fraud, who commit theft, that these are people who are Christians that profess to believe in the Christian faith, that have the same commandments that I do,
Yep.
but they're still Christian. They break the command.
Yeah, the only
That's
requirement
your
you have to
issue.
be a Christian, the only requirement you have to be a Christian is to believe in the divinity of Jesus Christ and that he died on the cross in order to save you and redeem you from all of your sins. That's literally the only requirement in order to be a Christian. I'm not saying that
That's
that's
the
required.
only
I'm not saying that.
requirement to be saved, not the only requirement to be a Christian. To be a Christian requires more of you. Okay?
What?
That's
That you
going any
can
further
believe in
than that,
Jesus
though, is just
Christ.
your distinction. That's your personal
No, it's
distinction, and
not.
that's
It's
okay.
really not. I can find you. Oh, come on. You serious? Where's Christian at? Where is he at? He could back me up on this. It's one
So
thing to believe in Jesus Christ and to be saved. It's another to be a Christian. It requires more of you to be a Christian.
You are a
You have to
follower of
love your
Christ. To be a
brother. You have
Christian means to be a Christian means to be a Christ follower. That's literally what the
to be
word
saved
means,
is to
Christian.
believe. To be saved is to believe.
Right, and
These
if you
people believe they're
follow
saved.
Christ, you believe in his
That
divinity.
does that does not make them Christian. And to follow Christ means you must be Christ-like. When's the last time Christ went and carjacked somebody or did a drive-by or committed fraud
What do
on
you think?
paper?
What do you think God's hard line limit is on the amount of sins that you can commit? Like, what do you think is? Who do you think is the most
I don't
sinful person who's ever been
I don't know
redeemed?
that there is I don't know that there is a hard line, but I'll tell you one thing, there's a difference between a Christian and a believer. And the
Right?
line
You
is
think?
the actions that they produce. And the line is the people that come after them saying that they owe them for XYZ. There is a difference. I don't have anybody out there coming after me saying I owe them for XYZ. Okay? Most of my
what's
issues are
that got to
settled and
do with it?
taken care of up front. It has everything to do with it. Because I take care of my issues up front like a Christian should. I deal with my problems up front like a Christian should. If I hit somebody with my car, I either have insurance or I offer to pay to fix the damage. Most people that don't they can't call themselves a Christian because most of the times they're out there committing fraud or
Yet
some
they still
indecent
do,
act.
though. That's just the thing, though,
That's
Dustin. Is that you can have
again,
that
that's
distinction, but it's nothing.
arbitrary.
No, it's not. It's nothing more than just a no true Scotsman fallacy. That's not a
It's
true
really
Christian.
no. You know the difference. You know the difference. Would you trust me with your credit card if it came down to it? Would you trust me with your financial information?
Chances are, no, I would not.
You wouldn't? Well, I'm sorry, but I
I'm
happen to
sorry. I'm
believe I'm
not.
a very trustworthy individual.
I'm
That's
not
fine.
saying that.
I
I'm not
understand
saying
that.
that to say that that you're a bad person. It's just I keep that information
No,
extremely guarded.
Tell me,
well, and
Dustin,
that's all
can
good
a
and well. What
person
I'm asking you is would you trust me? Is a better question to ask,
Yeah, I trust you. I definitely trust you. I trust you, and I have respect for you. I hope that you know that.
right? And well, but what I'm trying to get at is that when you're dealing with someone you can trust, right? That's a principle that a Christian should have, right? And again, this is all very arbitrary, but the other end of the equation is I don't believe that you can be a Christian and do those acts, and I believe there's quite a bit of evidence that backs that principle.
So you can be saved, but not be a Christian.
That's a good question.
Absolutely, you can be saved and not be a Christian. All you have to do is believe in Christ. Okay,
No
there are
one
people
may
who go to
come to
heaven.
know the Father but through me, though, right? Like that's what Jesus himself said. No one may come to know the Father but through me.
But then there's also no efforts or actions that can be considered your works that you can be boastful for in heaven.
Well, you don't need works, I thought.
So
I thought that was
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. So the only thing it takes to be saved is belief in Jesus Christ. Now there's a difference between being saved and following the path of Christ, loving thy neighbor,
then
following the
what's the point in
commandments.
being Christ-like if you could just be a horrible person throughout your entire life, and then at the very end just go, you know what? That was, and genuinely within your heart, just go, you know what? That was horrible what I did, and everything I did up until this point in time right now was awful, and I'm just reaching out to you right now, God, and I'm asking you to forgive me for all of that. That person could have lived a life of just debauchery and horrific sin, and right up until the end they can do that and then just check themselves out right at the very end and say, no, I actually redeemed myself because I asked for forgiveness and I believe in Jesus. What's the point in being Christ-like then?
There isn't. There's no point to it. There's no point in being atheistic either. You guys think that you have reason and science on your side. That's not the side that I'm taking. And I really don't think anybody can. Because I don't think mankind is smart enough to actually understand what it is they're doing when they come up with these derivatives and conclusions from an experiment. I believe that there's something deeper going on when we observe phenomena and that we're only seeing it on the surface. I believe that because of our ignorance, we are stuck behind a wall of thinking we know the answer, and that's stopping us from finding the actual answer.
I mean, even if what you're saying is true, even if we are still on the tip of the iceberg, which I'm not even necessarily willing to disagree with on a certain level, like I definitely agree that we have a huge, just ponderous amount of information that's in front of us that we don't even know is there to learn right now. I agree with that, but you would no doubt agree as well, though, that we've gone deeper than just the surface. Like maybe we haven't probed very far down from that surface, but we've broached the surface at this point. We've began looking into the
Mankind's
deep
reach,
fundamental questions of our reality.
mankind's reach
Claude,
far exceeds its grasp. This is true. Yes, we have experimented and we have observed. We don't have proper conclusions. That's
Yeah, but
my contention here.
when we begin harnessing the fundamental aspects of our universe, like getting power out of the very process of nuclear fission, let alone fusion, like those things are indicative to me that we are in a stage right now where, although yes, we were before in a state of very fundamental ignorance about those components of our reality, that's no longer the case and is becoming less and less the case every day.
Aiden, you and I both know we've have successfully achieved fission and fusion reactions in a plasma-like state. The problem
That's
is the
correct.
cost effectability of it. We're not looking at how to do it, we're looking at how to make it cheaper. That's the whole problem. That, and we're also trying to stop it from tearing itself apart due to a lack of ability of maintaining magnetic polarities to contain the plasma.
Well, I think the problem isn't necessarily our ability to be able to get energy out of nuclear fission. I do think that's the problem. I don't think that it's the energy itself that's the issue. I think it's the fact that we are able to harness that, but we're still running it through a steam engine for all intents and purposes. I think that's the
What
bottleneck that we're facing right now. It's not the energy itself, it's how we convert that energy and how much we actually get back out of that conversion.
Claude,
what
your
what
camera's on.
what kind what are you thinking about, like thermal electric generation, like
Something like that. I
what is it,
mean,
like
the
Peltier? You want a Peltier device?
well, anything. I mean, honestly, it's everything beyond the steam engine is not itself been able to be found to be cost effective, but I do definitely think that something like a scaled down version of that would certainly be a potential solution to that. I think though that we won't even necessarily have to worry about that if we're able to get sustainable fusion reactions. We could still just have the steam engine, and with fusion, it won't even matter because the sheer amount of energy that's going to be being produced, even a hundredth of that, will be vastly more than everything fission has been able to produce. It's just a matter of being able to sustain that reaction for a long period of time
Right.
that we're really having a problem
It's
with.
a problem of it's a problem of magnetic polarity, right? Because once the plasma builds to a certain point, we can't contain it anymore.
That's
Well,
correct, yeah.
Claude, your camera's on.
Oh, Claude's
Claude, are you
camera's
there?
on. You think Claude might be away from the keyboard?
I mean, all I'm seeing is a ghost without any clothes. I mean, you might want to put some pants on.
No, but
I'm just saying.
I do
We
think
forgive you.
though that
No. Well, okay. Here's the thing, right? If
sorry,
you,
I got cut off there for a
we
second.
can't.
I was just gonna finish. I think that
Okay.
I think you don't give humanity enough credit, to be totally honest with you, because I think that humanity has the rate of innovation that we've been able to undertake has done nothing but increase and increase and increase exponentially. So the potential of what is available for us in the future and what is in front of us is something that truly boggles my mind when I even attempt to try and think about it, because it really is just something that there could be 1,000 different black swans right around the corner that could change our world fundamentally for the better or the worse, and they're only going to come to us faster and faster the more efficient we are at developing these technological advancements.
I'm not sure that it's. See, the technology is not the issue, right? You have one hand on technology and you have another hand on science, and you've lost the idea of how the cell phone works, right? You're busy trying to ensure that it will work. What's the benefit?
Dustin,
What are we? What?
would you like to debate Aiden one day?
We're kind of debating right now.
I mean, informally, for all intents and purposes, yeah, we're kind of having a bit of a debate / discussion right now. The
Right?
benefit, though,
There.
Dustin, to answer your question, is the fact that we are able to maintain and exceed a higher standard of living and quality of life through these scientific advancements. Like refrigeration
I don't.
is one of the largest
No,
scientific
that's
advancements of all of human history, as far as being able to produce a freon device that is both safe and efficient at producing lower temperatures for food preservation. That itself was a game changer for people, because up until that point, food was the largest expense that people had. For the
okay.
99% of all of human history, it was food that was the biggest expense that we had. But then refrigeration allowed us to store and stockpile it to a level that we'd never had before. And now it's, compared to every other point in human history, a very marginal expense. So those are the things, those are the benefits that those things impart upon us.
Okay, you're talking about what, a 50, 60, 7. Well, actually, it's probably more than. I forget how old the freaking refrigeration technology is. It's got to be better than
It's about
100 years.
120 years old at this point.
Yeah, it's got to be better than 100 years. But regardless, that's you're dealing with a change that was brought about of a necessity. Okay, right? And ever since then, necessity's kind of changed its target, so that the advancement is not pointed towards the betterment of man, but the betterment of individual. And the issue with that is when you have somebody who has a lot of really nice shit surrounded by people who have nothing, you become a target. It is the issue of mankind and the way it's developed ever since the reality of the timeline that it actually exists that we all can't agree on. More to the point, um, the theory that a raising tide raises all ships is very valid. The problem is some of these people don't have the mental capacity to understand that. So when you're dealing with those individuals, and you're saying that I have this great advancement and you're trying to sell this thing to them, it becomes more of an adversarial situation, because there are those in the human community that will never see things the way you want them to see them, and that will
It's
always create a wedge between the new way and the old way, and those
Yeah,
who will fight
there will
to
always be
stand.
Luddites. There will always be
Right.
Luddites that pine for a previous age. Oh, wasn't it better when we had the horse and buggy? Oh, wasn't it better, before we had germ theory? I don't know. Maybe there was a couple of Luddites against germ theory. I wouldn't be surprised given the human condition. But anyways, um, yeah, that I agree that there's always going to be those people, those proverbial sticks in the mud. But I don't think that they have ever really been able to properly stand in the way of progress. They've certainly tried, but there's always somewhere in the world where that advancement is taking place in some capacity or another. Like, you know, you look at the Bronze Age collapse. Yeah, it was a Bronze Age collapse in Eurasia. But if you look at South America at that point in time, the Incan civilization was itself working with bronze. So when we're talking about, you know, this fundamental collapse in society and human history that happened in Eurasia, that might be the case. But there was another part of the world that was keeping that progress going, was keeping that flame of human advancement alive. Now, globalization might change that paradigm to a certain extent, but I don't really know if we're ever going to get so interconnected that we will be able to totally halt either Luddism or the inverse of that technological advancement. I think there's always going to be someone somewhere that is working on these things, the same way that there's always going to be someone somewhere trying to push the boundaries of exploration. You know, it's just a natural part of the human condition that we are curious and that we want to discover as much of the world around us as possible through any means possible.
Well, then you got to deal with the rest of the human that says that things need to be met and there are deadlines to be. The issue that we keep bumping up against here is the concept, right? Like, how are we going to regard things and what weight do we place on them in terms of conclusion?
Well, you were
I
just
don't
saying.
necessarily.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Well,
Oh, okay.
I'll just surmise. I'll just surmise as to say this. Okay, when you're dealing with progress, okay, progress requires the sacrifice of eggs. Any omelet has to be cracked, or any omelet has to have eggs cracked in order for them to progress. And the issue
and
here then
barely.
becomes, what is the cost to benefit ratio, right? You can tell me that there are benefits to technological advancements, and that's all good and well. But the honest to God truth is that if that freon in that refrigerator ends up getting exposed to fire, then it becomes ionized hydrogen gas that will cause you to be dead in a way that's much worse
Oh
than
yeah.
burning to death.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
And that's why early refrigeration was correct. There was actually a time where freon leaks were way more common, but we innovated upon our technology enough to be able to make it safe. What I heard you say, it really did stick out to me. There's always going to be people saying that there's deadlines and that there's scheduling. You're absolutely right. But the thing is that innovation inherently has to go against that grain, right? Like Herr Einstein, during his time at the Prussian Academy in the 19th century, if he had just stuck to whatever his professors wanted him to do and didn't innovate at all on what they were doing, then he would have just been stuck in that patent office for the rest of his life, right? So
or he might have
ultimately,
wound up in jail.
yeah, you know that too. But you understand my point though, right? Like innovation inherently
I get what you're
has to go
saying.
against the grain. So I do think that is just um an ever persistent aspect of the human spirit, and one of those aspects of it that makes it fundamentally redeemable in my eyes. Like I think that although there is a profound amount of horrible aspects about the human condition, like greed and a predilection for convenience and all of that stuff, there's also some things that, even absent of any kind of religious argument, are profoundly beautiful about humanity.
Pod, are you alright?
I mean, let me guess, Kent Hovind.
Yes, that is true. Yes, Kent Owen in Dino Land. He was, in fact, somebody who said that he is a man. So this is related to what. I'm just joking, Claude. Please don't bust my Claude balls. I'm just joking. I'm just messing around.
Are you there,
Stop
Claude?
busting
No.
Claude's balls.
Yes,
No,
it's
but
okay. I have a sense of humor. No problem.
yeah, that's kind of a nice thing about this side of the tracks is that at least people over here have got a good sense of humor. Missing Mod's just losing it in the chat. Um, no, but I think a good example of that is like the curing and eradication of smallpox. That was something that, absent of any religious or theocratic message, it was something that humanity did because it resolved that this was an ailment that's been with us since the beginning of time and ought not be with us anymore. And we achieved that. We
You know
did
how
that.
they achieved the vaccine there, don't you?
It was cowpox, wasn't it?
No, it was eggs. They exposed various eggs to the disease until they found one with resistance, and then they took the egg and then they brought it.
Yeah, no,
the
I know what you're
smallpox.
talking about. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Sorry, I was thinking about the person who invented the vaccination in general, not the cure for smallpox specifically. I got those mixed up. No, you're right. I think of that as an example of at least utilitarian thinking, as certainly a net gain for all of humanity. I think that
Right.
it was certainly something that benefited us as a whole because ultimately, I think you could agree with me that it's better that an egg that doesn't have any capacity to feel pain or emotion or anything like that, it's better that take the toll of this than a fully living, breathing human being that has so much more potential.
Well, I think the reality is that there's a cost for progress. Okay, and what was acceptable yesterday, or what wasn't acceptable yesterday, will be justified tomorrow if we're not careful.
Yeah, I certainly think that there's an argument to be made for that. Like, we've definitely got to prevent another Josef Mengele from coming to the forefront, right? Like, people like that are obviously people who need to be suppressed at all costs, at least as far as those sorts of practices. But I think that like the experiments done by people like Mengele are a great example of suffering that outweighs any, if at all, any benefits that were gained out of the understandings of those experiments.
Was that Gangster Ghost trying to chime in?
I think that was. Yeah, what's up, Logan?
Oh, hey guys, I gotta go. I got stuff I gotta go do. I forgot what time it was. I got lost in time.
No, that's all good. I kind of got you distracted. I'm sorry about that.
Much love, guys. I'll catch you later. Thanks, Logan, for the discussion today. I think we made good progress. I even brought up an actual scientific, whatchamacallit, I guess, fact that Big Bad Mama didn't know about. She didn't know about glaciation, so.
Oh, Missy Mod is asking for you to call. For you to call her.
If I have time, I will. I'll catch you later. I gotta go.
Yeah, you have a good one, Dustin. It was good talking.
Hi, Alcan.
All right,
Hey there.
Claude. He is gone now. He has left the stream. You can do what you did with Achilles and come back in now. No, I'm just kidding.
I can't because then you'll say I've come back in, but I can only come back in but not talk about the same topic. That would be fine.
Yeah.
You're a mod too.
What I did with the Achilles one, it was almost deliberate. I mean, I knew he dominated the whole thing. This is Achilles for a couple of hours, and he keep on saying you have to go. And you, if you were on the stream, you couldn't get a word in anyway. So once he goes, I start to talk, and he comes straight back in. He's full of it. It was so funny.
Yeah,
And
you didn't have to go anywhere. I don't know.
he
He had
wouldn't
to
let
go
me
somewhere
speak.
the same way that Lupin was done with this community. It's all of them over there. It's so silly.
Yeah. But I just love
Very
it that
biblical.
Achilles is the flat earther. That just takes all the heat out of everything. It's wonderful.
Yeah, there's certainly that. How can he not realize that all of the other arguments that he makes are just kind of invalidated by that very simple simplistic hurdle that even a 5-year-old is able to navigate their way over.
Yes.
Oh, are you guys coming back later on for Brother Pie excursion? What about his teaching?
Oh, when is that?
7.
7?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll try to come back for that.
How about you,
Hello?
Sergeant? Oh, hi, Outcast.
Hi!
Oh,
Oh my god, you
hello.
can hear me now.
Yes,
We
we
can
can
hear you.
hear you now. Hello, it's been so long since
Hi!
you've been here. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
no.
I have my own show now.
Sorry, what did you say? What did you say, Gigi? Logan?
I have my own show now.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought I was subscribed to you since forever ago, but I wasn't.
Yeah. Oh, Claude, this is Deviant Outcast.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, hello, Mr. Burns.
Hello, Ms. Outcast.
You can
He's
call
an
me Gigi.
Egyptologist.
Yes,
Oh, very
yes.
good.
If you want to get
How
really
old?
upset, talk about how great the Ptolemies were.
No, no. Do not.
How old is the Egypt civilization?
How old?
Yes, what do you think?
It depends on when you start counting.
Like
I mean,
for humans settling Egypt, about how many?
oh, for
how many-
humans settling Egypt, that's around, say, 6 to 8,000 BCE.
Oh my
But
goodness!
Egypt, yeah, but that's people settling in the Nile Valley in like tribal. That's not the ancient Egyptian society that later on became the empire, etc.
Well, I'm sorry, but I've gotta interject here. That's more than 6,000 years, so that actually can't be correct.
Yeah,
That's where I was leading.
yeah.
Sorry,
No,
Claude.
what we traditionally know as ancient Egypt. So when the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt is takes place around, let's see, around 3,200 BCE, somewhere in that area.
I've got a question for you. Here's a real question for you. Memphis or Thebes?
Thebes.
All right, I can
100%.
respect that.
Oh,
I can respect that.
uh,
The religious capital. All right.
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
Outcast. Can you come on again later on too at 7? That's when Brother Pike's having a teaching.
Yeah, sure. What? I mean, it's 8:30 for me here. So what time is that? Which time zone?
Oh, it'll be
Eastern.
past your time. Then it'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning your time. Then.
Oh,
Are you kidding
then
me? Do you know when I go to bed? I go to
what?
bed at like when I had dinner at 8 this morning.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It's because you Nordic people never see the sun, isn't it? There's just something that it does to your genes. And I'm a Canadian. I'm a
Yeah.
Canadian saying that. So that's how you know it's real serious.
Then it's really serious, I have to say. No. I just it's nicer at night.
Huh?
But
That's
it is actually a problem. It is actually a problem because the
Here's the
stores
question.
doesn't have my daytime.
Here's a question for you.
Oh my god, that's sardonic.
Which one would you prefer if you had to live in either one of them? Ptolemaic Egypt or Assyrian Egypt?
That's what I said. That's sardonic. You're evil.
If
You
you
are
had to live in
evil.
one or the other, which would you live in?
Okay, then I would live in the very, very, very early Ptolemaic period. And we are talking like,
Yeah, Deviant likes Ptolemaic Egypt confirmed.
oh, damn you.
Yeah,
Damn
nobody
you.
can pick the Assyrians. I boxed you in there. I'm sorry. Which one would I
I know.
prefer? Would I prefer the Greek guys that made us all slaves, or would I prefer the Towers of Skulls?
Yep.
Huh.
I wonder.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there. Yeah, I mean, like Ptolemy, it couldn't have been that bad under like Ptolemy the second and the third. Like after
No,
that, yeah, it was pretty crap. But
100%. But also the Greeks adapted Egyptian culture and the Egyptian pantheon. They didn't bother to learn Egyptian, which is kind of telling.
well, it was Amun Zeus, wasn't it? It was their deity that they intermixed between the Greeks and the Egyptians was Amun Zeus, or was am I thinking of a different deity?
Yeah, I think you're. I know there is, for one thing, there is this really. It's from uh, late Ptolemaic era. It's a really ugly statue of Horus. He looks basically like a Roman, like a Roman soldier with some Greek, because this is like, it's not from Cleopatra's time, but like her, a couple of generations prior to her, I believe. I can't say for 100%. But it starts to become more and more Hellenistic, and they start to merge the Greek pantheon
Yeah,
more and more into but this is in, you have to understand that this happens in Alexandria because the Greeks couldn't bother to get out of that city.
yeah,
They
there was that
never,
one, and there was a couple of little tiny ones that were founded by like veterans of Alexander's campaign. But yeah, for all intents and
yeah,
purposes, it was basically one little island of Hellenism.
yeah, exactly, right at the what's it called, the Mediterranean, at the port to the Mediterranean Sea, which is kind of interesting if you think about the Greeks as being a seafaring people, while
Yes,
the Egyptian culture is very isolated. They have their Nile Valley that's extremely prosperous, and then these desert lands that I mean they are barren today. They were even more in some ways barren back then. On the other hand, also not as much because
in certain areas, yeah.
yeah, and also the technology of the day made it much more dangerous to be out in the in the desert, which
Yeah,
isn't.
besides little oases like Siwa, it was
Yeah,
basically just giant tracts of desert. So,
yeah,
yeah, like to my knowledge, the coast of northern Africa, even places like Libya and whatnot, was a little bit more fertile at this time compared to what it
100.
was now.
Oh yes, 100%. Because around the time of the Vexellian ice age, what we here in Scandinavia, in Sweden and Scandinavia, called the last
How,
ice age. I don't know. You
uh,
in
have
the
you
North America have other ice ages that we don't care about.
Yeah, we're kind of more focused on the little ice age during the Middle Ages because we have a lot shorter of a memory.
okay? Uh, definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Dustin?
No, I don't think so.
Uh,
Oh wait, no,
he
no.
just, yeah. Uh, do you know
Steven, yeah, he's still around acting crazy.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of AJ's AJ's
Oh
content.
yeah, you saw where he went on his stream and got like kicked for no
Oh,
reason at all,
oh
basically.
yes, oh
Yeah.
Yeah, for saying that.
Yeah, for making a daddy joke, that was enough to get him kicked off of the show. It was so obvious that they were just on the back foot and they weren't doing well in the conversation. So they were like, "All right, well, time to kick the rug out from underneath them."
I
I see you talk to Achilles. He's from Greece.
I don't think
oh
that she'll like him because he's from Greece.
yeah, I'm it depends on how old he is. I don't want to be prejudiced, but they are very
He's in.
Hellenistic still.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're Hellenistic because a lot of them forget the fact that they were Romans longer than they were Hellenes, at least
Yeah,
in terms of the strict sense of the term.
yeah.
Like, they haven't been a free and independent society since the Macedonian War. Between 1821 and the Macedonian Wars, they were a subservient society of people, which I'm not bagging on them because of that. The Romans themselves became a
Of course
subservient
not.
and
I
later
mean,
extinct
it's
society.
2,000 years ago,
Right.
2,500 years ago. So, but still, what grinds me, and I know this is it's ridiculous, but I kind of it grinds me that when people think about ancient societies that were not just prosperous, but had a lot of knowledge that we are benefiting from today.
They'll
And
think of the
not
Greeks.
just not yeah, they think of the Greeks and then they think of the Romans. And I mean the fucking Romans, I'm sorry. Sorry my language. I would try to remember to swear in
I
Swedish.
love your passion for this so much. It's just so great.
It drives me insane.
I mean, like, wait, there's a question for you. Would you rather live in Ptolemaic Egypt or Roman Egypt?
Oh, Ptolemaic, 100%, no questions.
Yeah, because I mean, at least the actual native Egyptians still had at least a little bit of representation.
Exactly. The Romans, they just came in. I'm trying not to say a specific thing here because this is an American show after all. But the Romans just came in, butchered everything, had no respect for the traditions of Egypt, and just like hungry hogs, swallowing and mashing in their face all this beautiful traditions and language and everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
people
I'm
like to
so
act like the pagan Romans were an extremely tolerant society in
oh
every
yeah.
aspect, and you really only have to look at how they treated the Egyptian. I mean, to a certain extent, to be fair, they basically just took the system that the Ptolemies had built and went, okay, well, now rather than all of this being the personal property of the Ptolemies, now it's the personal property of the emperor. So
Sure,
besides
but
that, they basically kept all of the Greek tax farmers and whatnot in place and kept that original system up to date until the Muslims took it over.
I mean, at the same time, the Greeks came in with Alexander and said, "Hey, we are going to rule this town."
Get out of your Persians.
But yeah, bye bye. We're the new guys in town.
Outcast. Is the Persians nowadays called Iran?
Yes.
Iran.
I think they've always called themselves Iran. I think that Persia is actually an exonym. I think it's actually specifically a Greek exonym that was applied to the Persians. I don't think they call themselves Persians.
Iran.
I'm unsure about that. I have one. So this is a sample of one person. He is from Iran, and a friend of mine, or used to be, or I don't know. I knew him long ago. He claims Persia as his, and he's very anti. He doesn't like
Which
having
one?
mind.
Like, that's the question. Like the Sassanids, the Achaemenids, like there was so
I
many iterations.
Yeah, I think in his case, it's more important that he's not uh, from Iran,
Mm.
because of what's his face?
Oh, the
Uh,
Ayatollah.
yes, thank you, Ayatollah Khomeini.
Yes.
Yes, because he fought against him and
Yeah. Thanks,
yeah.
America. By the way.
That's true. That
Don't start a war here.
Yeah. They're coming to Egypt next. No, but I looked it up, and yeah, although Persis, Persia proper, was one of the provinces of ancient Iran, variants of the term, e.g., Persia, were adopted through Greek sources and used as an exonym for all of the Persian Empire for many years. So, yes, it was the
There you go.
province of Iran, but we
Yeah.
kind of used it to describe the entire. I mean, I still do it. I don't call them Iran. I call them Persia, the same way a lot of people call the Eastern Romans Byzantines. It's just a term of convenience, if we're honest.
oh, can I say this? I ran to Iraq because I was hungry for turkey. Is that true?
That is true.
Oh,
That's
you're
true.
awesome.
Yeah, I would. I never even asked about the Achaemenid, or the Achaemenid Persian empires I hold over Egypt, because it was a pretty decent time to be an Egyptian at that point. They were actually a fairly tolerant society over the Egyptians, at least to my knowledge. Am I wrong
Yes.
about
Oh,
that?
yes. Oh, yes. No, I mean, most up until the Romans, actually, invaders came to Egypt and adapted into the Egyptian society, because Egypt was, they were the golden boy on the scene. Everyone looked up to Egypt, and no one looked up to Egypt more than Egypt themselves,
Yeah.
of course. But because of the prosperity of the Nile Valley, I mean, prosperity not just in terms of gold, which they had loads of,
From
less
Nubia and
so
whatnot.
wood. Yeah, but you know, no, Nubia were the nation that was to be invaded
Yes.
and robbed.
That's where
And
they. I think
then,
that didn't the Egyptians get the motif of building pyramids from the Nubians?
no, it's the other way around.
Oh, okay. I must have gotten
Yeah.
it backwards.
Hmm. Yeah, but they actually had their own. Nubia had their own little twist.
They built them real tall.
Not very tall, but very pointy. Very pointy.
Well, that's kind of
and
what I meant.
solid.
They weren't very wide, I should say.
Yeah, they were like significantly smaller than even like the Queen's pyramids in Egypt. I mean, it's not even comparable. It's more
Yeah,
like
like
they took the top stone of a pyramid and changed the angle to make it more
I think the
pointy.
Hi,
pyramid that was
Deviant.
built in Rome. Oh, Big Bad Mama, hello.
Hi, Big
Hi,
Bad Mama.
Deviant. Hi.
Ah, hi.
Hi.
Good to
Hi.
talk to you. I'm not going to
Yeah,
stay
you
long, but I just
too.
wanted to say hi and that I miss you.
Yeah, we miss you.
Oh,
Yeah, we all miss you.
I miss you too, all of you. This is
Oh,
fucking awesome. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think you can cuss on this one, but
But you
Logan, are
never
we allowed
know.
to
People say
limited
broccoli
swear?
ears. Exactly. I'm a proper lady.
Well, please come back on again.
I will. Of course.
And you can either come on Gangster Ghost, or tSquadLaughs also has a pretty a stream that you might want to go on too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Claude does
really?
some good streams. I like Claude's streams.
Mr. Mod got the show too.
Yeah, Missing Mod's got a show as well. We all
It's
just
too
kind of
late. You
started
might
to we took our
ingratiate
ball and went
yourself
home.
again now. You've done it now. I'm storming off in a huff.
What happened?
Put the Bourbon
Mon Dieu,
down, Claude.
monsieur.
Put it down. So
Good to
now,
see you, Deviant.
yeah,
You
seriously.
too.
Glad to
I
see
think
you.
I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go have something to eat for lunch. But Deviant, please come back on the show at some point. I would love to continue this conversation. I love
100%.
talking about Egyptology, especially how it relates to other societies, because you're absolutely. I guess what I'll close with is, in my opinion, Egypt was kind of the Han China of Eurasia, in that they had access. I think it's true. I think the Nile was the Yellow River of Eurasia, in that the Egyptians were able to sit on such a huge surplus of food and were able to create such a level of prosperity. They
Yes.
basically viewed everyone directly outside of that one little slice of the world as, oh, yeah, you guys are kind of icky. You guys are kind of smelly. I'm going to kind of just do my own thing over here.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And everyone
100%.
admired them for it. I don't know what it is. There's something about a culture being holier than thou and excluding itself from every other culture that makes every other culture go, "Oh my god, I just want to be them so bad.
Yes.
Let's build things that look like their shit, and then we can like have armies that have the same equipment as their shit, and then like, sorry,
Yeah, they
Like the
Logan, I'm
kind of
Mongol.
sorry."
lose themselves, but it's. I know. I can't blame the Egyptians. They were very inclusive in their exclusivity. I mean,
But
it's
sorry, go. I'll let you have a closing statement, and then I'll take off.
yes. As long as if you came to Egypt from any other nation surrounding them or any other part of the world, but let's be real, the world was very small back then. You were an Egyptian. If you lived in Egypt, you were an Egyptian. If you lived in Nubia, you were a vile, what's it called? Not
You're one of
enemy,
those,
but
not
yeah, like a
barbarian. That's a
reprobate,
stinky
the
Greek term, but
barbarian,
yes.
exactly, and worth absolutely nothing. And to die in another country as an Egyptian was, you could, I mean, it's worse than death, worse than to die 10 times over, to die outside of Egypt.
Do they?
Yeah, because then you embark your spiritual journey essentially
Ex-
outside of where you're supposed to be. So yeah,
exactly. And you can't take part in the Egyptian traditions and be mummified. And even though
buried
only
with
a
all your
very, very
possessions.
small portion was included in this, the post-death transformation in the beginning of. It's a very long history. Okay, it's a very long history. There is
Yes.
very much in my brain right now.
It's not until what, like the 19th dynasty, until we get to like Ramses II and whatnot, that is the first actually widely known. He's who Ozymandias was based off of and whatnot,
Yeah.
obviously. He's the first widely known pharaoh. Maybe besides Tut, but I would say Tut's really more known for his artifacts than his actual reign.
Yeah, but also it also depends very much on what time are we talking about. I mean, I don't really like Ramses II mostly
No?
because he's so over. No, all of these, like Tutankhamun. I mean, the find of his grave is astonishing, and it has given us loads of information that we didn't have before. And it's of course magnificent, and all of these things. But as a ruler,
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like he had like 1 year on the throne or something, didn't he, as a child? And that was
oh
basically it
no,
after he had broken his leg in a hunting accident, I think was what happened to him.
wow. Oh, that's a very long conversation. But I will say this: he came to the throne at around 6 years of age, I believe, and he ruled until about 18.
Oh.
Yeah, but in the beginning of his reign, yeah, he was a child pharaoh.
Oh, I knew he was a child pharaoh, but I thought he died in childhood.
No. Yeah, because everyone calls him the boy king. But in Egypt at that time, you became a man when you were around 13 to 14 years. And he
Yeah,
died
that
at
was
between, most people land on 19, because 18 to 20, somewhere there. So 19. So he wasn't a boy king in that manner of speaking. And as a child, while having the regalia of the king and the position of being the king, he wasn't the ruler. None of the like Pepe let's see, is it for Pepe II? Also came to the throne as a very, very young child, but didn't start to rule on his own until he reached grown age, which isn't that grown up, but
I mean the
puberty.
last
Yeah.
the last official pharaoh of Egypt, Ptolemy the 12th, was a boy king, was he not?
Unsure.
I'm pretty sure he was the younger brother of Cleopatra, because she was in her 20s at this point, I
Yeah.
believe. When it was...
Oh, yeah. But he won.
I'll look it up. Hold on.
Because I know he was young, but I don't think he was a child. He was. Wait, he was. He was. Let me guess. I think he could have been like, I want to say 7, 8, 9. Is that right? Do I remember that right?
Yeah, it's between 7 and 9, I believe.
Oh, my brain.
Mm.
I'm so happy every time I remember something. I'm so happy.
I've one last thing to ask you before I go. I know I said I was going to go like 10 minutes ago, but this is such a great conversation. I can't easily get away. What I've read was that one of the practices of mummification in Egypt, and innovation is what I read, by the Romans. I know, shocking as though that may be. It was that they included with the mummification a painting of the person's face on top of it. They would have a sheet with that person's visage rendered onto it in order to give at least a basic identity of who that person looked like in their life. I think that I read that was an
Look,
innovation of the Romans.
yes, look up the Fayum portraits. Fayum. Fayum. Those are from the early, I believe, from the 1st century CE.
Yeah, so that'd be during like the like Hadrian or Trajan's
Yes.
rule sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's really, we're not even talking
about Egypt at that point as a society.
Exactly, because it's been so watered down. I mean, there are remnants left, but if you consider that the very, very last hieroglyphic inscription was found in not to feel I believe it's the Isis temple. Yeah, that's Fila in Aswan. I believe that's where I could be misremembering, but it's dated to like the early 2nd century.
Yeah.
So like I want to say 134, and I have no idea why that year is stuck in my head. But
Logan, what's up, buddy?
Oh, I have a question. Are you a scientist?
me?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I'm an Egyptologist and an archaeologist and a very disturbed person. I'm joking.
No, you are not. That's enough out of you. You're a great person.
yeah.
I guess what I'll close for real this time. I promise. This isn't me pulling an Achilles. I'm actually gonna go this time. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with you in that it hadn't been an independent society since I think it was Cambyses the first or the second was the
Yeah.
first Persian satrap to rule over
Yeah.
Egypt. Yeah, that was in like 500 BC, roughly speaking. So yeah, it was between 500 BC and 100 AD. 600 years under various different tenureships of all sorts of different societies. So yeah.
I mean, when the people are no longer, they don't practice their ancient religion. They don't really speak their own language anymore, and the only ones who can still read hieroglyphics is a small grouping of priests that are more or less, I mean, they are not hiding because they weren't persecuted by that point, but they are living in like isolated enclaves within
Yes.
this society.
Yeah, like a fraction of a fraction of a
Yeah,
percentage.
Oh,
They are the
I'm,
real weirdos.
Yeah. Well, you could count yourself among them, I'm sure. You're the modern Egyptian weirdo. Do you feel a connection with those priests now that I've said that? A kinship?
I do. I too
Oh,
am
there
an
you go.
isolated enclave.
There you go.
okay.
All right, I'll
But
talk with you guys later. Have a great one, Faithful. Or,
Take care.
not Faithful,
Great to hear from you.
Deviant Outcast. It was good talking with you.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
You
yeah.
as well. Bye bye.
Oh,
Bye.
yes. I want to ask you. Said you live in Sweden.
Yeah.
Oh, you ever met Seth Kettle? I think he lives there too.
Yeah. I haven't met him, but I've talked to him.
Oh, you ever
I
met him?
know him. No. We live in very different areas of Sweden.
That's that Steven guy. He's back at calling people witches again. He called Faithful that not too long ago.
What?
Yeah, to Aiden's face. Yeah,
Yeah.
he blamed Faithful for Chuck not having a show lately. He said she bewitched them. I guess.
Wait,
He's
he brought her on the show and
no,
then
he He said that to Aiden.
Are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here. Yeah, he
Yeah.
said to Aiden. Okay, hear me?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he said it to Aiden to his face. Aiden, he told Aiden he blames Faithful about Chuck not having a show lately. He said, "Did she bewitch him or something?" He said he's crazy. He before called me a witch, Aiden a witch, you a witch, everyone.
Don't worry
What's
about it,
wrong with
though.
that dude?
I'm surprised he didn't call.
Hey, Deviant, can I ask you a question when I get a chance?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
Cool. Are you familiar with the Ipuwer papyrus?
The what? The ether.
I Ipuwer. I guess it's papyrus laden 1344 recto. It's what the IPUWER. Creationists use it to say that Exodus was a real event because it's got some imagery in there that WER.
Oh, have you ever heard that? What's his name? Wyatt.
Ron Wyatt. Yeah,
Ooh.
we all know about him.
Yeah, he is. He is an unfortunate individual.
So they used that. I guess it was made during the 19th dynasty, and they use it because it's got a statement that the river is blood.
Oh well,
and
wait.
yeah,
It's the I know which one you're talking about. I'm trying to see because I have so many books like on my computer, facsimiles of different papyri and
it's in the
writings on them.
Netherlands, I think, currently.
Let's see, Egyptologi, språk, religion 9. Maybe. Oh my God, I hear myself. That's not good. That is not good. What's happening?
That's okay. You don't need to look too hard if it's a pain.
No, it's
Right.
I hear myself.
Yeah, you do have some background noise, or Claude does actually, I think.
Yeah. Ron Wyatt is a fraud. Since I'm in an abrasive mood today.
Yeah, it's.
I made a few mods.
Oh.
Yeah, I made you a mod too, Mrs. Outcast.
Yeah, I saw. I'm so honored. I'm so happy you invited me. I didn't see this. Look, I want to blame YouTube 100%, but there could be partly it could be partly my own fault, because just today I had to close. I had 275 open tabs, and eventually my computer said, nope, we are not going to work like this.
3, you're always welcome on here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
What percentage of the population in Sweden are Bible literalists?
Literalists. Oh, that's like
Not really.
infinitesimal. That's like almost, I won't say non-existent, because there are like I think the Plymouth Brothers, but all these things. I mean, on the whole, Sweden is a very secular country, and
Because I think it's like 20, at least 20% in the U.S.
At least,
what?
yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Stephen.
Yeah. I mean, the whole
Hoven.
the southern and middle part of the country is very religious and very conservative.
Hmm.
I
No,
think
I
in
mean,
Greece,
And I think
the only one is
Australia has its enclave. What's that, Claude?
the only Bible literalist in Greece is Achilles, but no,
And he's a Hovendite.
Australia is more free thinking now that Ken Ham has left. That got that that
oh,
was
but
about
he's from
wish
New
we could.
Zealand.
yeah.
Without
No, he's from
Australia.
Queensland, I
Yeah,
He
think.
is really.
yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Miss
I
yeah.
Achilles,
wonder.
outcast.
Yeah.
That Achilles guy, he said
Mhm.
that Ken Hovel is up there in Christian, the most important person nowadays for Christianity, up there with
Yeah.
Jesus.
What?
Next to Jesus, Kent Hovind's the most important Christian.
Oh.
And then Lupin say that that Achilles is an intellectual powerhouse.
And he's a flat earther.
It's so funny, some of these things.
Apart from that,
And
Oh
who
my
said
God.
that the dolphins were deviant sexual monsters? Someone said that. Oh, right.
Dolphins.
You can't
What
make
an
this up.
insult.
Yeah.
dolphins are evil, pure evil.
Yeah, hell with that.
Hey, but they're not asking.
They'll mate with anything.
They're not asking for that to be taught in schools, you know. So
No, of course not. And they don't pay taxes. Or
anyway,
wait, how?
Right.
What about that part? I don't know.
We're not paying to have our viewpoint taught.
No.
We don't pay taxes.
just a minor point.
No, but about the Bible literalist idea. I mean, we do have a political party that is like it's a Christian party. I can't speak for individual members of the party or their individual voters, of course. But if I can't even imagine someone in serious political power, not even on the most local level, espousing to be a Bible literalist and have any support. I mean, people aren't judgmental. It's not like, oh no, you can't be a believer. People doesn't care. We don't talk about religion. It's like a private matter. We talk about the weather. It's fucking cold.
We have a new Speaker of the House who
Yes.
worked with Ken Ham in ICR, the Institute for Creation Research, and now he's our Speaker of the House, which is like the third in line for president or second in line for president.
You think
Oh, that's the way. What's
that?
I've seen that. What's their name?
Oh, I think it's Mike Johnson, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Now, they just kicked out a member of Congress who was a serial liar named George Santos.
Ah.
Only the 5th congressperson ever kicked out. And three of them were for serving in the Confederate Army back in the 1860s.
Well, that's a badge of honor.
Oh, it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy
The
against
select
Christians.
few. Yes, it's important to be persecuted. We are all very, very persecuted.
Especially Biden.
Not me, of course. I'm not persecuted.
Oh no, no,
That's
no.
because everyone else is. I'm persecuted in not being persecuted.
Are
Yes.
you living in a better place now, if you don't mind me asking?
No.
Okay.
No.
I know we talked about that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
No,
I'll leave it at that.
yeah.
No, we have this congressman, George Santos, who was the worst liar almost in political history. And he said his mom was in 9/11 and that he was a volleyball champion and he went to these prestigious schools. And meanwhile, he was taking the money from his donors and going on these extravagant vacations. And it's really an amazing story. I mean, the guy and the voters, believed him because they thought he was telling the truth. But he was the worst liar almost probably in American history in terms of just lying.
Yeah, I mean that's
next to the last president.
Joe Biden?
No, the last one.
the one before.
Sorry, Logan.
Oh, what? Oh, sorry.
I don't want to bring up politics on your show.
No, your politics is weird.
If Deviant needs accommodation, she can go to Dinosaur Adventureland, but she'll be put to work after 2 days.
Oh, but I don't do work, you see.
Neither does
Egypt.
Neither does Kim.
I do witchcraft. It's been told.
Oh.
You better go on with Proverbs.
Kid works for 90 hours.
Oh my God, that guy makes me want to vomit.
Yes, David is a crazy little guy.
Yeah,
Yes, he's done some horrendous things.
I can't imagine how. I mean, I know there are so many layers of awful people of various kinds, but I still can't get myself into the headspace of doing what he has done and being so false and so fake and so weak and so pathetic.
That sums it up.
Have you seen? I've been putting up interviews where Stephen was condemning Hovind, and I'm putting them back up at the moment, and hopefully that will cause people to think twice about him.
Yeah, I saw. I think it was yesterday. I have my not impression. My experience of time is kind of, it's not fully in line with.
God, he did a response to that old video before.
No. Oh.
Yeah, remember not too long ago, he wanted Sydney to take it down. He didn't. She didn't do it, so he had to do a response video to it.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Well, when I posted my version of that, I called it something Stephen Bolin downward spiral or something like that. But he ended up using the word Stephen Bolin because if you did a search on Yahoo or Google, my video would pop up.
Yeah.
And so he started calling himself Proverbs Guy and Stephen Andrew, which is his middle name. but he's distanced himself from his own last name.
Yeah,
Well,
But oh God,
it was called Rise and Fall of Stephen
because
Bull.
of his
Rise and
own
Fall of Stephen
actions.
Bolin.
And this is a man who has, how many children does he have? 5?
four, I think.
4
I
children.
think maybe 6.
Oh, poor babies.
It's 4, I think.
He
And
said
he
he had 4,
sacrificed a couple.
and Sydney showed a video showing his 2 daughters on there, so maybe 6, because he says he had 4 sons. I don't know.
Or maybe he just
I hope
counts the
not.
sons, so when the daughter's around, they become sons.
Maybe. I don't know.
We all know only sons matter.
Do you remember when he posted those videos of accusing Cindy of making the poisonous cookies that
Yes.
she was going to kill off Hovind?
I mean, that was
was
psychotic.
that was inexcusable.
Yeah. I mean,
You
a
know,
man who knows he is, yeah.
I'll let you finish. You finish first. Yeah.
No, it was going to become very not
but
nice.
I'm just saying. I've my latest one's a bit with Stephen or the Proverbs guys. I've put it in the name of the video clip, and therefore, if you search Proverbs guys and you go to the filter and you go to most recent,
Yeah. Oh, bye. Proverbs bye.
guys, I have to change Proverbs.
Oj då. Oj,
That's a
det
bit
här blev
naughty of me.
konstigt. Yes. Proverbs.
Oh,
I accidentally, I promise this was purely by accident. I accidentally wrote Proverbs gays.
great one, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Mind you,
I
the
mean,
truth is there will be at least 1 or 2. It is, I don't see what they have the problem with what people do with their private lives. It's
me
just,
neither. It's always been strange to me.
yeah.
Or no,
But then
actually, it's not always been. But I had
they
my
defend molesters even with a conviction, but they are very come down hard on someone who has a different sexual orientation. It's bizarre to me.
Kent makes a homophobic or transphobic comment almost every show.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
and he was very
He really
awful to
does.
AJ. That was really awful.
Totally.
I wondered whether to report it, but then I think, that just gets into tit for tat.
Yeah, and it's good to have it out there because
shows I'm up for what he is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of Christians that would not like statements like that.
Well, I think Donnie has to be very careful now with his followers because he is enabling this and not holding Kent to account, and he's going to
He didn't
lose.
call him out at all.
Not at all. He does what he is told, and he's going to. I've actually sent him a personal email saying, this is not good. We don't have to believe the same thing, but you say you're an independent moderator. You're nothing of the sort.
Yeah,
good for you. That's good.
He's really. I don't know why, because I shouldn't be by now. But he disappoints me every time. He's always like, he's almost there like some kind of cushion for Hovind. Like,
oh yeah.
As soon as anything becomes okay, I will say he's not as bad as certain Bolins, but I still get the impression of someone running with a pillow to the poor king, and like, lay your head here and rest.
Well, those debate shows that he has, first he lets Kent give his own presentation, and then when he opens it up for questions, he makes half of the people asking questions creationists, And so by the time you get to them asking questions, there's only like 3 quote unquote evolutionists
Yeah.
that get to ask anything. So he's cushioning Kent, and then Kent's there for 2 hours and then he's gone. You know, he's got to work. He's so tired. He works 18 hours a day or what have you.
Yes, of course he does.
But so you're exactly right. Standing for Truth cushions Kent. And I don't know what the agreement is between them, but there's something, because I know that Kent gets Standing for Truth a lot of views, but like he does for the rest of us. But
yeah, but I mean, and sure, even bad PR is still PR.
right.
But in the long term, I mean, Kent's an old guy, and YouTube is the new media. And from what I understand, Standing for Truth has at least some kind of reputation within like the community of
fundies. Yeah.
Yeah, for most of it, it's fundamentalists and some atheists.
Yeah.
I don't think he's changing anybody's mind either way, really.
No, he's extremely biased.
Yeah.
He appears pleasant. That is the problem, you know,
Yeah,
in a way.
and I think
he appears
that's what
reasonable
makes
until
me
you look at
disappointed.
it. Yes, he's not a nasty person outright, you know. He's not an Achilles, but he you know, that sometimes is worse because he gets away with these things, you know.
Yeah, and it's very difficult.
The one thing he did.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, Deviant.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, yesterday, he basically, when AJ was going to start asking questions, he said, okay, let's just keep it to the topic now, you know. And then AJ said something, and then Kent immediately comes back with a homophobic comment. Yeah. And instead of saying anything, SFT just sits there. And then when AJ starts to defend himself, oh no, we need to keep it to the topic all of a sudden.
You're exactly
and I think that's
right.
exactly how it went.
Yes, it's exactly how it went. I've now flicked you a copy of the email I sent to SFT. I think
thank you.
He needs to be kept.
But
whether it will make a difference, I don't know. But at least I'm trying, you know.
At least someone. You can always say something. You can never force anyone to change. But at least you can, if you know you have made someone aware of a problem.
I look for that video, but I can't find it. He did a response to it some years ago.
He's probably taken it down. He takes things up and down when he realizes, you know.
Which video was it? The witchcraft video, Logan?
He did a response to the video with his interview of Sydney Lincoln.
Oh.
She had that video up. He wanted her to take it down. She didn't, so he decided to do a response to it.
He probably took it down because he took down a lot of videos that he did with Ken Hovind because they were probably considered evidence in his upcoming trial, I would imagine.
Oh, they pushed that back.
Yeah.
Right.
And Kent is 100% going to either state if the question comes up, because December is now, and it was supposed to be now in December. He's either going to make references claiming that he won in some manner. I mean, he may not go out and say, yeah, we had a trial and I won. But he will surely turn his word in that to give that impression.
Right. He hasn't done that yet, fortunately, but
no,
I hope he doesn't do that. But that is his MO.
exactly, it's his MO. Or he will make the claim that the court thought it was so ridiculous that they won't even like try the case. They have pushed it forward because it's just so ridiculous that
Well, they're pushing it back because I guess
they
there's
have,
like so many murder trials going on in that county that,
and
which
it's
is
like
kind of
a
surprising.
tiny
It's
county.
totally empty. But everybody's murdering everybody there, and so it pushes her trial back, or his trial back.
Yeah.
But I wish Cindy could just get, I just wish it would happen so she could get beyond it in her own life.
Yeah, me too.
Because I feel bad for her, and
she has to be
I
prepared. It could go any way. It could go either way because the jury is and the last time Hovind had a jury trial, one juror held out. That was over him trying to interfere from prison and some other things. And he got off that one because of one juror. So that's all it takes. And when he talks about Cindy trying to pollute the jury pool, it's exactly what he's trying to do. He's very good at projecting.
Well, he's going
he's
from he's going from house to house now, isn't he? He's sending his people, encouraging his people to go house to house to discuss his innocence, I think.
Yeah, well,
and that's tainting the jury pool.
Well, I can't remember.
I'm delusional, but that's okay.
Who isn't?
Right. I take pride in my delusions.
Do you know the song that Mark Reed make fun of the other day with Cindy and Kent? The Fight Is On. Did you hear that one?
I heard it. Yes.
Yes. I've rewritten the words for some of that, and I've got.
Good.
I've got a very jaunty piano tune. It's a bit high, but anyway. So
take it to a lower octave.
Yeah.
If I could, yes.
Even though the higher octave might be funnier.
Yes.
For the video.
Maybe I'll
be the judge.
I'll strain away.
I would strain.
Easy
for
you to say.
You have a good voice. So
my
it might
French
be funny.
voice. That is my French.
Well, no, you can carry like a vibrato and stuff, and don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm a musician, so I've heard you sing, and you are a good singer.
I'll have to say that Sandra her harmony is very good. And she the only way it can appear bad is because Hovind isn't,
Yeah.
But I think she's quite a natural singer,
She sings naturally, and then he tries to sing in this voice of church. It sounds so contrived.
Yes, but I suppose it comes from teaching 700 prisoners to sing. Was that one? That's one of his claims, or is it 600? I always forget.
It was 300 girlfriends.
Yeah, and he won Tour de France when he biked up the Mount Everest naked.
Chess champion of the world.
Yes,
it reminds me of
while cycling.
He's like the president of North Korea, the hole in one, every game. Yeah.
This is what Miss Amada asked for you.
Sorry, say again.
Can you read that, Claude? Missy Maud asked you a question.
Oh no, I can't read it.
Does Claude think about anything else?
Then what? Then Missing Maud.
Sorry about that, Big Bad Mom. I just put it. Everyone's
don't put all her comments on there. I mean, that's all we'll be talking about.
Oh, sorry.
You can say occasionally I think of something else, but
she can come on here if she wants to talk to us.
Kent and Missing Maud are the two loves of my life at the moment, but tomorrow it could be different,
What about me?
Oh yes. Oh, you were yesterday's yesterday's woman. Yes.
You're a Frenchman. You all know how you are.
Oh gosh. Deviant, it's so good to talk to you.
Yeah. So Cause sorry about Facebook. Someone hacked my Facebook and
Oh,
hacked. It was about a year ago. That's why I couldn't I couldn't talk to you on Facebook because someone
Yeah.
hacked. They also got try to scam my friends by Father Charles, Brother Chuck, and Brother Pike and MM. It's all good now, but I'm on a new Facebook page account. I couldn't get
Oh.
back.
good.
Um,
Deviant, did you know I went to visit Mark Stoney?
I saw. I was so jealous, but also very happy.
We had a really good visit.
You did.
Yeah, it was fun. We went miniature golfing one day, and then the next day I took him on this long mountain hike with his dog was along, and so
Yeah.
we had a lot of fun.
Uh,
We got along great.
Awesome.
Mrs. Outcast, what if you
Yeah.
fall into another dimension where you and Mark Stoney are a king and queen of Egyptians?
The Pharaoh.
Yeah. And Clark is your general, and Big Bad Mama is your what else would they have there?
They must have a high priest.
Yeah, high priest, and Aiden is your
You know, this God is so wonderful.
That's possible.
God is so wonderful.
It
He
could
made this
happen.
fish.
It could happen.
God made this.
What's that, Claude?
God is so wonderful. His wonderful design. He made this fish in the Nile, and if you go for a pee in the Nile, this fish can swim up, whoop, and get inside you. You know, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it
It's in
creation
the
good? Yeah.
It's in the Amazon, and it's called the spiny candiru.
Oh, is it? Is it? There's some,
CAN,
right.
but they've never found any real documented cases, but supposedly if you pee underwater, it can swim up your urethra,
Yeah.
and then it's got spines, so you can't pull it back out.
Oh.
And so they have to do surgery in order to, and there's also a plant that they can apply that's poisonous and can decompose it, but they have to do painful surgery to get the fish out of there. But the spiny candiru.
Spiny.
Thank you, Claude, for bringing
Does
that
it
up.
have like barbs?
Yes, it's got barbs
Of course,
that go
of
back.
course, yeah.
So if you try to pull it out, the barbs go right into you.
Ah, nice.
Well,
That's what you
I know
want.
it.
Don't pee in the water.
I'm thinking of an
Exactly.
illness called bilharzia, but it's not a fish, is it? There's something bilharzia. If you swim, it's a fluke parasitic worm you can get from the Nile. Another of God's creations.
Is it a liver? Does it go to the liver? Or
Bilharzia. It's caused by parasitic flatworms called schistosomes. I don't know where it gets to. Isn't it wonderful? God,
hey, there's Soot Kettle. Hi, Soot.
He created all these wonderful words for us to use.
Right.
Bilharzia.
Yeah. Harzia. Bilharzia. Just another nasty thing you can get from the wonderful creation.
made for.
Soot Kettle has a great song about bowling.
Yeah.
Can someone send me the link? Because I searched and couldn't find it.
Claude, I think I sent it to you. I'll try it again.
Yeah. Could you send the actual? Because
sure.
It went somewhere, or I tried so hard and something went somewhere else, but I never got the actual song. So if you can find it, I just would love it. Yeah.
if Gangster Ghost made Soot Kettle a moderator, then Soot Kettle could post it on here.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to moderate
Soot
myself.
Kettle's he'd be a great moderator. Yeah. He's a really good person. Yeah. You're going to have to moderate yourself.
I think. When I get too excited.
Can you at least wait till the stream's over?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, no, it's not
Okay.
like Hoven's excitement. Remember that one Mark Stoney put up? Oh my goodness.
Oh, we don't want to know, but we all know.
That was very naughty. I always wondered, was it true or not? If it was terrible. But
You know, I wasn't sure I heard that, but
he was.
what I did hear was that Kent was literally watching television all day long, and he's getting on people for playing video games. Meanwhile, he's watching war movie, and then he watched a kung fu movie. He watched a western,
How
and
could he works 18 hours a day.
Right. I don't know.
Hey, and you watch
and Stephen Boland said he doesn't work at all when he was going through his honest period.
And you must not have a 3 minute shower. 2 minutes is enough. But it's all right for me to sit in my hot tub. I can't believe people can't see this. Why? And then when I say this, I'm attacking the person. No, I'm not. I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, how if someone decides to act in a specific manner, I mean, again, it's a grown person we're talking about. It's not like a child or someone who is mentally challenged in some ways, though you could that. Either way, how can it be attacking the person when you are saying exactly what they are doing?
Yes.
Right.
They chose to act that way, and I promise you, Hoven knows what he's doing. He may act in another way, and he may even fool himself almost, but when the lights are out, he knows exactly what he's doing.
He's made a career out of it, right? Claude, she called you Kentily challenged.
Kentily, that's a good
title for a video. A great title for a video.
That my friend
Missing Mod?
Oh, yeah, Kentily challenged. That's good.
Good one, Missing
I want Mod to have a modal shift away from Kent. I'm going to convert Mod. That is my task. Convert her to Renaissance thinking.
Charm her with your French wiles.
Well, I know. Well, she's been a bit unfaithful to me because she fancies the big bad mama too, but I can look past that.
You can share. It's French.
Yeah. I told you I'm polyamorous, so.
There you go. What's the
I'm Polly Parrot.
No.
The fight is on. A Hoven soldier getting bolder. Please donate all your money, make his day. Against the Lord of Boasts, marching on to ignominy. The truth about his grifting's very clear. It's a very catchy tune. And
very much.
It's written by Mrs. C.H. Morris, 1905.
Well, Claude, you know the drill. You put it together, send it to me, and I'll put some images to it and post it.
Isn't it so jaunty? Yes.
What did you say, Logan?
I made a moderator.
Oh, we're all moderators.
Missy Mod, I'm kidding. I'm not polyamorous.
Oh.
I'm a one-woman man.
One at a time. Yeah.
Exactly.
One a day.
Right.
But the dentist say 5 a day.
You're wrong.
Oh.
The producer.
What's that, Logan?
His producer, he has 2 girlfriends.
Oh, Peter De Tooker, yeah. He's got 2 girlfriends. He lives with both of them, and he seems to work out really good for him.
Oh, he's kind of like Claude. He gets all the ladies too.
Right.
Yeah, right.
There we have the new witch.
Oh, there we go.
God.
Soot Kettle has given the link, Claude. Can you see that?
Okay, looking. Is it in the? Okay.
In fact, if you want to, Logan, you could even, if it's your channel,
There it is.
if you want, you could play it.
Oh, I couldn't because it doesn't play stuff on my. I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you.
I'm just looking at this. Is it in the?
I showed up on here.
Right.
It's in the chat. But
Good. Yeah, I'm just looking now. Here we go.
It's set to the music of Rawhide, I think. Bowlin'.
Oh, here we are. Perfect. I've brought it up, and I'll listen to it later.
Starts at 4 minutes.
Yes.
Starts at 4 minutes.
Raw Lies. Oh, good. That's very good.
Raw Lies. Yeah.
I have to get
It's a classic.
laptop fixed before I can.
Yes, Miss Ahmad. Peter Day took her.
Yeah, but sorry about.
He's R and Raw's moderator on, I think, the Blasphemous Bible.
Yeah,
Maybe.
all his lives.
Yeah. And he does a lot of. He's helped people a lot with their introductions and stuff.
Yeah.
He's really good guy.
Big Bad Matt. Is it true what Keely said? You and Aaron Raw are best friends.
Yeah, I don't know where he got that. I've never talked to him. He's never, I've asked questions on his show, but because I paid a donation, but he doesn't know me from anybody.
He said because you go on his show, go in his comments a lot. He thinks you're best friends.
I don't really go on his comments once in a while. I mean, I see Deviant Outcast there once in a while, but
Yeah.
I don't go in his comments. I usually watch his shows after the fact.
Yeah,
I watch Aaron Raw and Gutsick Gibbon most of their content.
Did you say Gutsick or Gutsick?
Gutsick Gibbon. Have you watched her before, Claude?
Yes, she's very good. She is intelligent. This is
talk about it. Smart.
I wish these people would listen to people like that. But instead of looking around finding creationist excuses or gotcha things they think are gotchas. But both her and Emma is also very smart. And you know what? She only
Emma
responds, yes, nastily if when Hoven treats her badly. If he doesn't,
right?
All those people could agree to disagree. We all have our points of view. But he always gets very nasty, and then they fight back, and they give him more than he gets. It's good.
God. You're like Michael Jones, Spire Philosophy. He's a theistic evolutionist. He did a response to this one guy going after evolution.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Michael Jones, Inspire Philosophy. He did.
It's pretty big channel.
Wait, Inspire Philosophy.
So he kind of mixes religion with evolution.
Yeah.
So he is normal.
He's a theistic.
I'm not
evolutionist, I guess.
I had to spoil a party, but I have to go now. So I'm
okay. I probably should get going too.
I will try and come later. Depend on what is happening. Yeah, but good. And talk to you again.
See you again.
Great to see you, Claude, and Deviant. Great to see you too. And Logan, thank you for hosting this.
Yeah.
And Deviant, can you watch my presentation at the beginning of this video if you get a chance?
Okay.
Of this stream.
Of the video we're on right now.
Oh, of course.
I had a discussion with a creationist about plate tectonics.
Big Ben Mom, you can put any part you want on your channel if you want.
Thank you, Logan. I will do that. I'll cut the discussion out and put it on there. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate you moderating, and keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you. You ever need to have anything like that again? You can.
I think we will. Yeah, I think Dustin wants to talk about C14 the next time. So we probably will be back for another discussion within the next couple weeks.
Just text me and tell me set up.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Sounds good. I love you guys.
Well, guys,
Take
Take
care.
care.
Bye-bye.
bye.
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 Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're
I
welcome.
enjoy this so immensely. You don't even know.
Oh, thank you. You're always welcome to come on.
Thank you. What was you were you going to have another stream?
Yeah. 7.
Go.
Yeah, 7 Eastern Standard Time. Christian Pike, he's gonna have a teaching on.
I have to write it down because I do not trust my memory.
Oh, it's gonna be later on today.
Oh yeah, right. It was around 1 or something like that, I believe.
That's
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for coming on. So
Thank you. Take care. See you later.
see you later. Bye.
Bye.